toughest things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
You're muted, bro.
Thank you, man. Thank you. Yeah, well, that was my good soliloquy to the mute button. But hey, listen, I can't get over seeing my man Gregory Hines. I can't forget how much of a fan I was of his when he was alive. Anyway, all that nice music, then you ended up showing my little soliloquy there, even though it was true. Listen, I want to have a little bit of fun tonight, right? A little bit of fun today without all the cynicism. We'll have time for that maybe in part two. But I came across this video on TikTok where this young lady said, well, how am I still single? She's 31 years old. And she sincerely put out there, and well, we'll get to the sincerely part. Well, she put out that question, so I want to at least have some people come up, kind of early, and let's talk about it when you see her video and give me let us know what kind of advice you would give her uh, going forward in the future now that she's 31 and she's looking for quote unquote her words a partner. We'll get to that part too, but let's just say I don't want to talk about what I think about the word partner just yet, but that's what she says she's looking for. And once you see her, once you hear her, what would you say to her based on the limited information she gives you in this 1.5 minute clip? So there's a couple of assumptions that we have to start off with, and maybe we'll show the clip more than once because not sure how many people are in the audience right now. But one of the things we want to do is assume she's being truthful and she wants an answer, right? So if you want to play in this game in the beginning, you got to assume that she's being truthful and wants an answer. We can all come up here and be cynics. We could talk about her. We could say this and how she got there and all that. But this is not what that's about. There'll be time for that. So one assumption, assume she's truthful and she wants an answer. And the second one, assumption, there's only two of them. She will be willing to take your advice, right? Assume that she'd actually be willing to take your advice, no matter how harsh it is, and not based on your so-called delivery. If you see some flaws in her and you tell her, listen, reason why you're still not married is because of this particular flaw, that particular flaw, this inconsistency, or whatever it is. So let's kind of talk about that, and let's not attack each other. Everybody should have their own opinions from where they stand, and then we can chop it up. And then the next part of this, after that's over, is if we took all the assumptions away and we want to just have a question, a third question at the end. I know why she's still single, and here's my opinion on why she's single at 31, even if she said she didn't want to be. So I don't know anybody who's in the chat who wants to come on up and right now, right away. Why don't we just do that, and then we can show the video. I don't know. A few people said they were going to be here. I don't know who's here, who's not here. I know it's still kind of early. I usually have a longer soliloquy. And if not, I'll just get started and I'll just show. But just give me a second. I'll give people a couple of minutes if they're going to show up and come in. That'll be good. Hold on. Bear with me for a second. All right. I don't know who's in there. Anyhow, listen, I mean, even if it's you, JT, you want to come up and trot it up. But I don't know. I can't even see who the hell is in the chat. Wait a minute. There you go. Trey Ferg, if you want to come on up, come on up. Reckless, if you want to come on up, why don't you come on up? And and then I'll just play the video with a couple of people in the audience, and then we'll go from that. JT, even if I know you moderating, but if you want to come up, you might as well too.
Most definitely, most definitely.
All right, so it's Trey Ferguson. I see him there. Is he coming up?
I seen him in the chat. I'm not sure. I just dropped the link, so
okay. We'll give him a couple of seconds, and then once, if it's just me and you, we could play the video. We could play it more than once because it's really short. Hey, Trey, how you doing, brother? All right, all right. I see Reckless in there too. I don't know if he's gonna come up. So, uh, I haven't seen Reckless. I've been going to his channel and listen to about some crypto. Cryptos are doing much better. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Anyway, hey, let's play the clip, JT, and then we could get it started.
Okay.
I'm 31. I don't have any kids.
Can you guys hear it?
Slow, low.
Let's see.
I'm 31. I don't have any kids. I got a credit score of 803 exact, recently pulled. I have 2 paid off cars. I'm about to close on my first house this year in May. I'm not toxic at all. I got a big booty. I'm releasing an app on iOS and Android. I work hard as fuck. I'm not clingy, but I'll always make sure my partner feels appreciated. Okay, so I don't cook, but I can. I can learn. And it's not like I don't know how to cook, but I just don't cook as much as I should. I'm probably not as feminine as the average feminine female, but I wear heels, I dress up. I just feel like I have a very dominant personality. I'm 5'8" in my head, but 5'4" on paper. I've never actually lived with a partner before. I'm just trying to figure out, how am I not married with 5 kids or running around? Like, what the fudge am I doing wrong? Most people say, oh, I don't give people a chance. Yes, I do. I have boundaries though, and I don't let people fuck me over. I'm gonna say more than 3 times because I give chances. I even give you a second chance. But it's so easy for me to just walk the fuck out once you start playing with me. But I still don't understand how I'm still single.
So, haven't
Wow.
heard, yeah, haven't heard of that. Who wants to go first to take a shot at giving her some advice? So why?
Yes, I'm
Hold
31.
on. Hold on. Hold on. All right. There we go. I can go. I'll go.
Go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
So, yeah, she doesn't have a purpose of marriage, though. She's not. She hasn't had that. That whole marriage minded. A lot of the things that she's saying is things as far as being, an adult. Yeah, she's on point with that. Being able to be self-sufficient. She's talking about her credit score, which is good because I check women's credit score, so it shows that she has at least good. She has good spending habits and things like that. She is attractive. She says she had a big ass. I don't know what they got to do with marriage. It has a lot to do with somebody that want to screw you, but not as far as with marriage. But if she has to ask why she's single, it's one of the reasons is because she's not um in that environment. She's not in the environment. The dudes that she's probably dating is not to a point where they want to marry her for whatever reason. It may not have anything to do with her, it may have something to do with them. So as we play it again, I think I'm gonna have more of a different way of thinking on it, but I'm gonna let the brothers take a stab at it also because we'll be able to mind it out, after we
Yeah,
probably
we
see it
could
a
play it
couple more
again after
times.
everybody gets an initial shot. We could play it one more time.
Absolutely.
Let's keep it short. Go ahead, Trey.
Man, I was just going to defer to the single brothers first, but
Okay,
I
well,
go.
that's okay. If you want Ray to go first, okay. Hey, Ray, you up here? How you
Hey,
doing?
I'll take it. I got opinions and thoughts and all the things.
I put some
So,
assumptions before you go. I did start out with some assumptions that she's telling the truth and she wants some advice. And then the
mhm.
next part, we could chop it up and really tell her, why we think she's there. But so from that perspective, this one, if we had a young lady we wanted to give advice, what would you say to her? If that's the same kind of thing that you would do no matter what, then go ahead, go for it.
Oh yeah. She needs to approach with humility. Like she needs to temper that aggressive nature. She seems as though she's like what most women, and I'm not going to even relegate this down to black women at this point. If you're in America or a Western country, most of these women are telling everybody they want a partner. The dudes that she wants don't need a partner. They don't. They don't. You are not partnering with me. There's nothing you're bringing to a table with somebody like me, period. I don't need a partner. I technically don't need anything from anybody at this point. Ship sailed. Winds are coming in. You're bringing nothing to me but yourself. So maybe work on having a personality. Maybe work on being able to be somebody that a guy can sit down and actually have a conversation with for over 60 minutes without wanting to blow his head off. Be personable. Be kind. It's not hard. It's not hard. Learn how to cook. I mean, she seemed like she was cute. She seemed attractive. But it's like she also seems like the type of person who you would get out on a dinner and realize that, like, I don't like you. Like, I don't like your personality. Like, you're not worth talking to. And yeah, like, we're just going to smash and put you back where we found you.
I hear you.
Yeah, I mean, it's the mentality is what it is, though. I mean, when you talk to being out here in the dating market now, the women that you come across, they're not coming with humility of any fashion. They're like, oh, I'm doing this. Oh, I'm making money now. Like, oh, what are you making? Oh, I'm getting 60. I'm getting 50. And it's just like, okay, what's your net worth? Oh, huh? Crickets? So you aren't bringing anything to the table. You got a job and you're eating all your money. Like, okay. Okay. So, like, how does that benefit me? How are you helping? Like, because like everything else you listed off, it's just like what Jay said. It's like that's what happens when you're an adult who has to compete for resources. Like if you don't do those basic things, you are homeless. Like that's not an accomplishment. Like the fact that these women throw that out as though it's an accomplishment. Things that every other man has to do where he lives in a cardboard box outside. And they consider that an accomplishment. I'm competing. Like, no, you're not. You're existing. You're doing the bare minimum. The mediocrum of what you have to do to not sleep outside. You do those things. And that's supposed to be an accomplishment. Well, maybe it is. And you know what? The reason they present it that way is because they know that they're not meant to compete with us. That's why they present it like that. Oh, look at what I'm doing. And they list off all this regular stuff that men have to do every day ceaselessly with no thank you. And we're told that we're the enemy and we're the problem and we're toxic and all those other things. And we get screamed at all day and still have to do all those things or we sleep outside.
Okay. So, all right. So let me get Trey Ferguson here for a second. We'll come back to that. Go ahead, Trey.
I'm gonna have to go back a few years when I was single. Just looking at her aesthetically, I think the black fingernail polish, can always be a deterrent. If you wearing black fingernail polish, guys are sort of, I don't know, it's just something about the black fingernail polish, the ring in her nose, that's really, it's really, I ain't never thought it was attractive. I don't think too many people think it's attractive like that. Like they said, I would assume that if she was talking to someone, she's sort of saying the same thing she said in the video, all of what she has. I don't think she provides any room for error at all. The first time you don't pick up her phone call, she'll probably just start assuming that you're just doing something else and just probably either poke you in the head when she talk to you or just sort of move on. She's getting to the age now where, she's cute, but I think it's going to come down to her just cutting a deal. She got to cut a deal with somebody. She got to work on being a little bit more feminine because she stated that she's a little masculine. She's going to have to actually go in and learn how to cook. What to be 31 years old and say you can't cook, that makes no sense today with YouTube, and they'll walk you through the actual recipe itself. So I think she can start there and just focus on just what she's going to do for a man. She didn't say anything what she'll do for a man. It was all about what she has at this point, so just, work on, being a little bit more feminine, be willing to negotiate. She has to negotiate at this point. I assume that she wants a man that pretty much 6 figures, like they all say. She want a high a guy that's, has nice little resources set aside. So she's going to have to cut a deal and be willing to just go all in with somebody. It's great to have those things and buy a house and all that, but if you meet a man, then where is he going to fit in that house? Is it going to be your house or is it going to be our house? Are you willing to negotiate that? If not, then she's what is it called? She's in the gray area. She's in
no man's land.
Yeah,
No
no
man's
man.
land.
That's where she's at. That's where she's at. Unfortunate. So
no man's land. Go ahead, got any more? I mean, let me go a little bit and then we could play it again. Because I did, just to be honest, full disclosure, I saw this originally on her TikTok. And I actually put a couple of comments in her stream. Now, she didn't reply. She didn't really reply to a lot of people. But the first thing I saw when she led with her bona fides, right? I said, listen, I hear what you're saying. And I said, it's admirable. All that stuff, the 2 cars, you want to buy a house, you writing the app. But since you're leading with all the stuff that you could provide, I'm not sure whether you're talking to you want a man or a woman. That's what I said, because usually I said, if I was a guy and I told you and I asked you at the dinner table, what's your credit score or how much money you have, you would look at me sideways. If I said it to you, right? So she's leading with that. So most men, we might admire it, but you don't have to necessarily give us that bona fide as just to be our girlfriend, not from the beginning. Credit score is good though. The other thing is the partner thing, of course, just like Ray said. And see, now I got accused of being an old man when I said this. You're out of touch, Rich, blah, blah, blah. I said, but most men 10, 20, 30 years younger than me, they don't want partners. They want wives. I didn't make that shit up just because I'm old, right? I said, there's still men out there, young men, millennials, and, who want wives. They don't necessarily want partners, so I didn't want to go back and forth, but that's how I look at it. It's not me making that shit up. And then, I think that she had I like her willingness to change. I thought I liked her willingness to change. If she didn't, a woman didn't necessarily have to cook for me, but that she wanted to learn how to cook. The thing that I really got me is that she wants kids, and a lot of women don't want kids anymore unless they're by themselves and getting government assistance. And she wanted a partner with kids. So now I'm assuming she wanted a man and she wanted to have kids naturally. So that's what I'm saying. The first assumption is she's telling the truth. The other thing is, I said the neck tattoo has to go. And the nose ring has to go. Especially if you're looking for a certain caliber of man. He can't walk you around with that shit around on your neck. You just can't. And so that's all I said. So we could play it again. Trey's here. Hey, Trey. Because Trey answered this too, and he can speak for himself. But let's play it one more time and see if you pick up some more nuggets out of it, because it's pretty short.
I'm
and then you could go, Trey.
I don't have any kids. I got a credit score of 803 exact, recently pulled. I have 2 paid off cars. I'm about to close on my first house this year in May. I'm not toxic at all. I got a big booty. I'm releasing an app on iOS and Android. I work hard as fuck. I'm not clingy, but I'll always make sure my partner feels appreciated. Okay, so I don't cook, but I can. I can learn. And it's not like I don't know how to cook, but I just don't cook as much as I should. I'm probably not as feminine as the average feminine female, but I wear heels. I dress up. I just feel like I have a very dominant personality. I'm 5'8" in my head, but 5'4" on paper. I've never actually lived with a partner before. I'm just trying to figure out, how am I not married with 5 kids or running around? Like, what the fudge am I doing wrong? Most people say, oh, I don't give people a chance. Yes, I do. I have boundaries though. And I don't let people fuck me over. I'm gonna say more than 3 times, because I give chances. I even give you a second chance. But it's so easy for me to just walk the fuck out once you start playing with me. But I still don't understand how I'm still single. I'm 31.
Okay. All right. So see, you hearing it. She's a little bit more nuggets. Go ahead. Hey, Trey, you saw this before, Go ahead and say your piece, brother. Hey, I made some assumptions that we believe that what she's saying that she wants, and she actually wants some advice.
What's up, fellas?
What's going on, man?
The reason why she's not married is because she's not looking for the right type of guy, right? So when women pull up, listen, when I go out on dates and when women want to start talking business, the date changes, right? It's no longer about getting to know me. This is turned into a business date. So, you pay with your business credit card instead of your regular debit card because it's a business date now. She needs a business partner. She doesn't need the type of person she's looking for is not the common romantic fall in love, drop the handkerchief BS. She needs a guy that's going to help build. The two of them are going to build a business together, and that's going to be their love language. Their love language is going to be through the work, through the building process. And we have to understand that some women are like this, and this is the new age of women. That's why I say if you don't understand this, when a woman starts talking like this, you don't understand this, you're out of touch. This is the new age. This is how women love now. So the reason why she's not married has nothing to do with all that other stuff that she listed. It has to do with she just looking for the wrong type of guy. She's looking for the guy that wants to get married and walk down the aisle and be romantic and take her out on vacations, and he wants to be the protector and provider. But if you listen to her talk, that's not the guy she's looking for. The guy she's looking for is the guy that has a business. She can come in and add in, her qualifications, and they can continue to grow together.
You still there?
Yeah, I'm done.
Oh, all right. Hey, listen, man. See, that's why I wanted to go through it a couple of times because what you just said makes sense. But if you could continue on that string, I mean, that kind of man, would he be looking to marry a woman like that or just partner with her? You know what I'm saying?
I don't necessarily think she's going to be number one. She may be number two or number three. I think ultimately the guys like that that are making that kind of money, they want a more feminine, stay-at-home housewife. It's not going to be her. It's obvious at this point. That's not her. That's not who she is, right? She doesn't cook. She says that she dresses feminine from time to time. This is what we have. We have a lot of women who look feminine aesthetically, but are masculine inside and are business oriented. So her ceiling may be side piece, and that may be as high as she ever gets. She may be the side piece of some married guy. That might be her ceiling, but that this guy that she's looking for, based on the way she described herself, he doesn't exist for her in her lifetime.
Who wants to go next?
I just had a question for Trey on that line of thought because I was like, are we going to act like Jeff Bezos doesn't exist? Are we going to act like Bill Gates doesn't exist? She can absolutely be a number one. She's just going to get divorced. Like, she's going to get left. After the business is built, she's getting her payout, and they're going to move along. She can totally be number one. Bill Gates' wife was number one until it was beneficial for him to leave. Bezos' wife was number one until it was beneficial for him to leave. And both those men, those women were business builders, and they utilized them to build the business and then left.
Was there a question or no?
Well, no. I was just saying. I was like, you're saying like she can't be a number one, and best she's going to be a side piece. I'm like, dude, we have plenty of examples.
You also said you had a question. You didn't ask a question.
Well, no. I'm like, so you believe that in the face of like what wealthy men actually do with women who build like that? You believe that at best she can be a side piece? Like that's your honest assumption in this situation?
I believe that's her ceiling. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, bro,
Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
Well, no. I was gonna say, I was like, so you're telling me that you wouldn't utilize that chick and then trade her in to build if you were actually building something to finish building what you built?
That was my entire argument. Was it not our pain? When I replied to you, what did I say I would do with her?
That's exactly
what I said.
So she would be number one during that time, though, right? Right?
No, I don't need her to be number one during that time.
Man, you a straight savage.
Our pain. Is that not literally what I said I would do?
Exactly what you said.
I said I would use
no
her
honor amongst thieves,
to help me build a real estate business. That's exactly what I said I would do with her.
Oh,
bro, I respect it. No.
But the point I was making out there, our pain is that we have to We have to stop trying to change these women into what we want them to be, and we have to accept this is what she is. This is what she is. And she said she got a big booty. I can work. Look, I can work with this. She's red bone. She's cute. I can work with this. Got a big butt, a good credit score. She got a business mind on. She probably ain't got a whole lot of debt. There's a lot of positives here that you can work around. But is she gonna be Susie Homemaker? No, never.
Okay, but so you don't think there's any in between? Let me tell you, of course, with the neck tattoo, you could cover it up, or she could have it removed. But would she?
That's a makeup job. And I've dated women that had nose rings. I got them to take their nose rings out. Or you can have her dress. You have her dress accordingly where that's covered up. Right? There's a fix to everything. Like I said, here's the thing. You want to walk in with a woman who can go work a room and network, she's probably really good for business.
Go ahead,
Yeah, and
JT, you want to say something? Go ahead.
No, so one of the things that she did was she answered her own questions. One big question, one big answer she gave herself was that she considered herself to be dominant. Dominant is not what it doesn't look good on a woman, not with her mate. It's always going to be some type of fight that you're going to have with a woman that consider herself to be dominant. So that right there, it's going to be a lot of things that she's going to have to change in order for her to get with the man that she wants. Because that's the only reason why she's single, because she's not getting the man that she wants. It's a bunch of niggas. I can tell you, it's a bunch of motherfuckers with the nose ring that actually is probably shooting at her. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes down to the qualities of being somebody that somebody can sit back and say, I can get along with you up under the same roof, that's something different. That dominant shit ain't gonna work. All that other bullshit she talking about, what she's talking about is being a business partner. And she has the wrong mindset. But it can be changed. She just got to be willing to be able to change it. And she's gonna have to stop putting herself so far up on the pedestal and bring her and and humble her damn self. Take that. I don't really have a problem with women having tattoos, right? It's just, I don't know. I just don't want them to be marked up on stupid ass shits like their neck, and big ass tattoo on their chest. They got a whole sleeve of tattoos and shit like that. That's most men, and I'm hearing most men saying that they're not it's not a turn on for a lot of men to see that their woman is all inked up. That shit don't look good. Now, I gotta say, there are some tattoos that are definitely fairly sexy on a woman.
Sexy as fuck.
Yeah, there are some, and especially when they are as light as she is right there, because the artwork, man, she can use all kind of colors on her tat. But it's where it's at. You know what I'm saying? So that whole I'm dominant shit, yeah, you're gonna always run into a problem. Then she's talking about she ain't taking no shit from somebody and all that crazy ass shit. So then she's putting her own fucking, whatever experience she had with the men that she was with, on there. It's just like if you go on a dating site and a woman would lead with she's not with the bullshit, or she would lead with, if you are not serious, then scroll or swipe right or whatever the fuck they saying. They're already leading with the bullshit that they already been in or still is in. Half of these women are liars. They're fucking liars, and she's a liar herself. I just gotta say it.
Say that again. What's she lying about?
She's lying that she doesn't know why she's not being why she's still single.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's an
hold on. We'll get to that point. We're going to go down that rabbit hole in a second. I want to stay up here with my assumptions that she's a little ignorant. Go ahead, Trey. But before you go, Trey, let me read this super chat so we can get out of the way. Can you put it up there? Yeah, Payne. I hate tattoos on a woman, and a woman that can't be still while talking with her hands constantly moving. I don't know if it bothers me that much. She's good for a stroke, but that's it.
Straight for the stroke.
That's it. Go ahead, Trey, first.
Okay, a few things. just based on her describing that she's a head poker, and she gonna poke you in the head as soon as you pitch her off. She gonna poke you right in the top of your forehead. I told you to get the hell on. And then tattoos. Like I said, tattoos. I don't know, just the placement of the tattoos.
Yeah,
To me, it sort of disqualifies you in a certain sense because I don't know what the job market is like. At some point, you really couldn't get tattoos on your neck and on your face area. It sort of disqualifies you for certain positions. Like I said, they got makeup they can hold, cover it up. But I don't know. I never really dated a woman with tattoos above her neck and down her arm. And if you got it on your back or the little little on your breast that you can cover up, that was cool. But now I don't know. But she's probably had 2 opportunities already. Guys done proposed to her. They just probably wasn't the guy that she wanted. Now, Trucker Jones, yeah. Somebody working a regular 9 to 5, yeah. They'll wife up, but a guy that's really out here doing something, I agree with Trey. She's number 2, 3. She good for pound town. Ain't nobody gonna wife her up.
You know what the bigger issue is, even with her assumptions. I mean, even with the assumptions are paying. You ever been on the front line, and then when they go check your target, you be like, you got double the amount of shots on your target, and the person next to you doesn't have no shots on their target. She's shooting at the wrong target. That's really what the issue is here, right?
Yeah.
Like I said, the guy she needs he's a business oriented guy. He's not emotional. Like honestly, I could date her because I'm gonna put her to work. And I'm gonna tax that fat ass every night, and I'm gonna send her right back to work. So she's not shooting at the right target. She's shooting at guys that want Susie Homemaker, and that's not her. And so there's an age-old adage: you don't have to lie to women because they'll lie to themselves. She's lying to herself. She's telling herself that this is why am I not married? Why don't I have 5 kids? You don't have 5 kids because the guys you want don't want you. Yes. You haven't, and this is when I say this. People get mad at me when I say black women aren't attractive. She hasn't done anything to make herself attractive to the man that she wants. She hasn't done anything. That's why she's leading with the resume. She didn't talk about loyalty, respect, kindness, generosity, cooperation, agreeableness. She didn't talk about anything that men of the caliber that she actually wants to be with, what they would actually want from her. She didn't say anything along those lines.
So Trey, right on that point though, isn't that part of the advice you would give her? She was asking.
But so my glue analogy that I use.
Yeah.
The glue is hardened. You can't change her.
At 31 years old.
At 31, she's done. It's over. And that's what I'm saying. Like guys have this mentality of, oh well, I can change. No, you're making a mistake. This is who she is. You either take her as she is and use her for the way she is, or you're going to constantly. She said, well, I can learn how to cook. At 31, you have to learn how to cook at 31? You're 31. So my question is, what have you been doing for the last, 18? I typically say adulthood starts at 18, right? What have you been doing for the last 13 years? How have you been feeding yourself for the last 13 years? And furthermore, you're talking about 5 kids, baby. You can't cook. How you going to feed my kids?
Hell yeah. Shit. If you ain't been in that kitchen and you don't have at least 13, 14 great recipes off the rip,
without needing a book for them.
Yeah. So gentlemen, she did say she would like to learn, and she said she could cook. She just don't do it often enough. So, so the cooking thing is, it sounds like she'd be moldable on her own to be able to do that if she had to. So,
right, but it goes to what Trey just said, though. She's still not shooting. She's not shooting at the right target. A dude would take her on, but it's not the dude that she wants.
I'm not expecting for her to cook for me. She can't cook. And I wouldn't worry about it. You want to know why? Because she ain't gonna be at home for dinner anyway. She gonna be working. We got a business to run.
See?
We got a business to run. She wouldn't be at home cooking anyway.
The reason why I threw those assumptions up there was just so we could put the cynicism aside. Because you could be correct, Trey. But I guess the best assumption I should have put up there is, does she have a possibility to be redeemed? Maybe maybe that's what I should have said, right? Because she actually is asking the question. If she wasn't asking the question, then I would be hard over on everything. But if she sat down and say, "Why am I not married?" Because a lot of women we do know have lack self-awareness. It's always what's happening to them as opposed to their accountability to what's going on. So let's just assume that she can't see that. She can't smell herself, for lack of a better term. You know,
So
and we're the people to help her out of this little trap. No, so because everything your guy said is legitimate. But I'm just saying, if we had the possibility of helping her out, what would we do? Go ahead, Ray. What you want to say?
But well, no, I was just saying, I was like, it's the medium in which she's asking is the reason that I'm like, you know what, like Trey could just be on her neck because she's not asking. This is about attention. It's just about attention. She doesn't care whether she gets the dude that she wants. She wants to get on TikTok. She wants to ask the ether. Who does that? Like, if you are dumb, you're okay. Let's just say, RP, hypothetical, go with me here. You're a dumb motherfucker. Would you get on TikTok and be like, I'm a dumb motherfucker and I don't understand why? Like, I can do math. I can walk left foot, right foot. Who does that? It's stupid. Like when I see these videos, I'm just like, first of all, you suck. Like you suck. Like you're
You
not
gotta
even in reality anymore. If that's what you're asking, you are not a real person.
But
I'm
isn't
just
that the
saying.
sign of the times? Isn't that the sign of the
No,
times? I mean,
but our pain. Remember the thing that the pushback that we always have for you though is that like y'all are disconnected. It is a sign of the time. These chicks, they're not fucking real. They're not real people. That is not a real person we're talking about. You're not going to save her because she's not a real person to begin with because she's already been taken by the algorithm. That's a fucking zombie.
So look,
Because nothing you're going to do is going to get her off of that. She is
okay,
on. That's literally if you find these women that are super involved in social media, it's like trying to turn a crackhead, bro. You think you're going to fix a crackhead? Because that's
and-
what it is. That's where they're getting their dopamine from. They are
right.
yeah,
crackheads. They're gone.
That's just
okay.
like a
So
dude. That's just
uh,
like a dude coming on social media, ripped up. You know what I'm saying? Great jogging pants on, ain't got no shirt on, talking about
Yep.
his accolades, and then he's saying, "I can't understand why I still can't get no pussy." It don't make you
Facts.
ain't real, bro. You
Yeah,
ain't real. This
it's
shit ain't
because
real.
it's because you're pathetic, sir. That's why.
Right. You ain't
Right.
because your
so
ass is you
so
ain't telling us the truth. You ain't telling the truth.
so you guys are just sitting up here and saying, "Listen, the hell with your hypothetical and shit." Okay, that's what y'all telling me. The
No,
hell
no, no,
with
no.
your
Go ahead, bro.
No. Pain. I'm working within your hypothetical.
Yeah.
I'm working within your hypothetical. Listen. I'm telling you, I can date her. I could absolutely date her.
That's what
Yeah.
that's what I was saying. But
It's not going to be traditional. It's not going to be what she think it's going to be.
right.
Yeah, I can dig that.
Be careful what you ask for, type of thing. Yeah.
Exactly,
Right.
exactly,
Right.
JT, exactly. If she's thinking
But
it's going to be red roses and date nights, she's wrong. Saturday morning, you're going to be at the office, sweetheart, working.
We don't celebrate
I love it,
Valentine's
Trey.
Day here. We don't celebrate Valentine's Day.
That's so funny, man. Hey, Trey, you had something to add on that one, man? Am I alone out here on the old man's, stump and shit with the dinosaurs and
No. Pain. I think it's just a sign of the times. Like Ray was saying, the difference is that I think 20, 30, maybe 40 years ago, you could probably lump a lot of the women into the same box, right? And
Right.
you could kind of attack it the same way with all of the women because there was sort of a societal sort of kind of way that women could sort of carry themselves, so the way they walk, they dress, they talk, the whole nine. It's different now with all of the liberation, the feminist movement, all of these things, and getting jobs and maybe the whole nine. So with that being said, I think that men have to understand that women are on different levels now. You have to approach them in different ways. You may can still pull a feminine woman, the Susie Homemaker, but that's one archetype of woman now.
Yes,
Right
yes.
now, you have this other type of woman who's business oriented. She talking credit scores and paid off debt, and starting the real estate. Like you have to meet her where she's at. I think that's some of the disconnect
Absolutely.
between the generations. A lot of the older generations are not. I think you're getting it now, Payne, but some of the other guys are still not understanding that all women aren't created equal anymore, and you got to meet them sort of where they are and then deal with them how they are. Like I said, I could work. I would work with her. And when they ask me, well, what y'all doing? Where's your wife? She's at work. She's working.
Yeah.
That's what you would hear me say often, because that's what she's asking for. Women who aren't looking for that type of relationship, they don't lead with a resume. They never lead with a resume. They don't want to talk business. They don't want to talk nothing about it. They want to talk about family and having a bunch of kids and holidays and arts and crafts and summer school. You know what I mean? Summer vacation. That's what they want to talk about.
So I got a question for you, Trey, on this point, though, from the man's side. And it's not just me being old, because I hear men 20, 30 years younger than me say they don't want partners, but they want wives. So is that a passe kind of thought period, even for younger men who might be millennials?
No, I
Or
mean,
is it just for religious people?
no,
You know what I'm saying?
no. It's no. You listen. You guys are right with this partner thing, right? I just work within the framework, right? But no, men don't want partners. That's not how that works, right? We don't seek that, right? That would imply that we're equal, and we all know that's not how it works. Even the younger guys, when they were on, that might be risky. Even the younger guys were talking, we don't do partners. I don't know what you're talking about, where that came from. Even the younger guys were saying that. So that's not how that works. What I'm saying is, I'm working within your framework. If she says that we're partners, fine, we're partners, but I'm the managing partner. I run things. We can be partners all day, but I make the decisions.
So
Right?
what we're saying, her aside, in general, that partner thing would apply if we're looking for somebody. We can't use her as an example.
You can use her as an example because she's not the only one who thinks like this, right? She's not alone in this thought process. But what you have to do is you have to explain to her, sure, we're partners, but you just don't make any decisions. You have to break it down to her like that. Like, yeah, we're partners. You got it, but I'm the managing partner. So everything runs through me. And if she doesn't like that, then you give her bags and send her on her way. Right. But that's the word they want to use, because again, remember, the women that the men that she's looking for, those women would never use the word partner. Those women would never use the word partner.
That's right.
So she's, you know what I mean? Like when I keep saying she's shooting at the wrong target.
Would you want to play that again, JT?
Yeah.
All right.
Just so we know again.
So, before you play, let's listen for a couple things. One, when she uses partner, when she talks about her willingness to cook, the fact that she talked about mentioned kids in the framework of marriage, right? Because a lot of women don't do that these days. And there's a couple things we should pick up as she going. Now, I'm not saying that's going to change anybody's mind, but at least she expressed this thing. And of course, what she does is lead with her bona fides in the beginning. But go ahead, let's go.
I'm 31. I don't have any kids. I got a credit score of 803 exact. Recently pulled.
Let's go back. What's going on?
Yeah, internet probably.
Y'all done broke the video playing it too much, bro.
Can you cycle it?
Yeah, that's what I'm about to do. Let's see.
I'm 31. I don't have any kids. I got a credit score of 803 exact. Recently pulled. I have 2 paid off cars. I'm about to close on my first house this year in May. I'm not toxic at all. I got a big booty. I'm releasing an app on iOS and Android. I work hard as fuck. I'm not clingy, but I'll always make sure my partner feels appreciated. Okay, so I don't cook, but I can. I can learn. And it's not like I don't know how to cook, but I just don't cook as much as I should. I'm probably not as feminine as the average feminine female, but I wear heels. I dress up. I just feel like I have a very dominant personality. I'm 5'8" in my head, but 5'4" on paper. I've never actually lived with a partner before. I'm just trying to figure out, how am I not married with 5 kids running around? Like, what the fudge am I doing wrong? Most people say, oh, I don't give people a chance. Yes, I do. I have boundaries though. And I don't let people fuck me over. I'm gonna say more than 3 times, because I give chances. I even give you a second chance. But it's so easy for me to just walk the fuck out once you start playing with me. But I still don't understand how I'm still single.
I didn't even notice the arm tattoo. That her whole arm's covered in a tattoo as well.
Yeah. Yep.
I got something. Did anybody notice that basically she described herself as being perfect?
Yes.
There's nothing wrong with her. There's nothing wrong. Everything's great with me. I don't understand why no one likes me. That's a red flag.
And her giving chances.
Right.
Huh?
Right.
Well, she also contradicted herself. She said she gave chances, then she said she walked away. So which one is it?
Right.
Right. Like if I was to go out with her like first date, like if I saw this video, I'd be like, I want to hear about your last relationship and how it was your fault it ended. Like, what was your part that you played in that?
I would ask her, would you want your business taxed as an LLC, an S corp, or C corp?
I love it. Trey said, I ain't even talking to you about nothing but this work.
I mean, Dre, what else? I mean, what is there really to talk about? Here's my thing.
You're not wrong.
Herself as a workhorse.
When I hear a woman over 30 say she doesn't know how to cook, what have you been doing? Why haven't you learned by now? Right? I could give a 20-year-old, a 21-year-old, 25. I don't know how to cook, but I can learn fine. I'll cut you some slack. When you hit 30 and you're telling me, well, I don't know, I start to question, what have you done for the last 10 years? What have you been doing for the last 10 years? And again, and this is great for young guys. I want young guys to hear this. When women talk like this, believe them. Do not think you can't change this. Believe her. This is who she is. Take her at face value. Do not be one of those guys who say, well, she said she's a little bit feminine. She wears heels. Don't do that to yourself. You're only setting yourself up for failure. Because again, our problem we have in our black community is the black women don't want to make themselves attractive to us. Why hasn't she done the work already? What is she waiting on? You should already know how to cook. You should be more feminine, not look more feminine, be more feminine. You're not doing the work, yet you can't figure out why you're not getting married or why you don't have a bunch of kids. It's because, no, you're not attractive to men. Not the men you want. You're not attractive.
Mm-hmm. Yep. She thinks that attractiveness is just aesthetics, and that's where she go wrong at. Because I can just about guess that she does date, and she may date for a good 30 days, and the shit starts to go sour. And one of the reasons may be is that she's not getting the right dude. Just I'm telling you, the more and more I'm hearing Trey say it, I'm like, yeah, she marketed herself as being a workhorse. She's marketed herself where a motherfucker can just rely on getting that bread off of her. Like what did she say? A 803 credit score?
803 credit score. Baby, we can do some things. We can do some things.
You know how many business credit cards we'll get with 100,000 plus on the motherfuckers? We'll be using everybody's money getting business.
I'm hearing company cars. I'm hearing office space.
What are you doing?
And listen, and Ray brings up a great point. We also know that there's an expiration date on this. We're gonna build this business up. You're gonna get your bread, I'm gonna get my bread, and then we're gonna dissolve this whole thing. You're gonna go your way, I'm gonna go mine.
Yeah.
Facts.
And if he's smart, he would not have any children with her.
Oh no. You don't get her pregnant. You do not get her pregnent.
That's a no. When they say no, can't get right. No, that's no, not that.
No.
Hey, Trey Ferg, you look like you chopping at the bit, man. What you got to say, brother?
Everything they saying ain't none of that shit gonna happen to her. He ain't gonna be Trey. You gonna be working for her. You gonna be checking in on the clock for her. I mean, it's just sad though, for her to come out and to speak in the capacity that she is. She has to cut a deal. She has to be willing to cut a deal, and she has to. I don't know. She didn't say what type of man that she's looking for.
Mm-hmm.
I think it would benefit her to cut a deal. I'm sure that, like JT said, there's suitors for her, but do she want those guys? She's probably asking those guys, "What's your credit score on the first date?" I just bought a house.
She's putting hers out there. I'm guaranteeing she's asking them theirs.
You got a house? Can you buy a house? Because she's not leaving her house, so you got to come in there with her. She ain't leaving that new house she just bought, great clothes on.
Right.
That ain't happening. She gonna be in there.
And she just closed on it too.
Are you willing to, she gonna have to cut a deal. She might have to pay somebody to come in there and be the man. She might have to deal Oprah to a little low budget Stedman, but she gonna have to cut a deal. She's getting to that, like you said, what's that? The no man's land. She's in it. It's gonna be too late to have children, so she may not have no children. So,
well, it's not too late at 31.
hey, it's too late.
Shit, she cut her chances in half already. Shit, this.
Okay. All right. Listen. All right. So listen. You know what's funny about the house, though, and go ahead, Trey. If you're not finished, go ahead, man. Finish.
No, that's it, man. You know, we can do this all day, but
okay, so
maybe
it's like old nostalgia, soft touch. Because when I look at this woman, right, you guys could be right, okay? Because really, I don't want to cheat because I did look at her TikTok, some of her other stuff, and I'm pretty sure why she's still not married by looking at all these other videos she put up. You know, I even have some other questions, but still, that's why I was trying to just isolate it about her asking and her being sincere about trying to find an answer. And even though everything you guys say is legitimate, the thing about her being hard, well, that's American women anyway, right? Most of them are hard. I mean, you'd be hard pressed to find a woman in their feminine. The American women, black or white, they make femininity look hard. I mean, they just do. I mean, you know, even if they're agreeable and all that kind of stuff, you know, they all know how to creep their necks and shit. Yeah. So this is
her right here.
That's her right there. So yeah, if you listen to, we don't have to play them, but she's got a couple of things. The other thing that I thought about her in the beginning, I questioned that maybe she might actually play for the other side a little bit, you know. So I'm not so sure that she doesn't.
Yeah. In her video, she said that she had them yams. I ain't seen one picture of those yams. If you got yams, you show yams.
Look, why you think I'm scrolling right now?
Look, I ain't seen one picture of the yams, man.
Well, hold on for a second. This is not.
Hey, bro. So y'all, wait a minute. Are y'all really mad that she's not putting herself out there like a complete hoe just because she says she got?
Hold up, JT. There's one picture. Go back up. There's one picture.
See, yes,
you go right there.
This a video right here.
Got a little bit of size to her, you know.
Yeah, she gonna hem you up, man. If you 5'6" and below.
Oh shit! Hold on, we're gonna have to watch it. We gonna have to watch it.
Turn that one on.
Let me show y'all what the fuck I got on, and then I'm gonna show y'all what I fucking.
She cursed too much. She's a sailor. She gonna cuss your ass out.
And she got them goddamn what you call them damn eyelashes.
Let me show y'all what the fuck I got on, and then I'm gonna show y'all what I fucking just did. Okay, so I got the viral bodysuit from TikTok. Hey, got that ass right. Period. Now let me tell you, y'all. So my friends are about to come pick me up, and I know they drive a black car, right? So I'm in front of my fucking house, bro. So I'm sitting here, and I wanted to be like a dumbass and be like, I was on the corner looking like a hoe. So I saw a black car driving by. So I'm over here like this. Why the fuck it wasn't them? It was a car full of dudes. A car full of dudes. I feel like a dumbass. So then y'all know I had to play it off. Let me show y'all what I did.
No. Okay, we know why she's not married.
Bro, you can't save these women. I told you, I told you, R-Payne. See, I hate being right, R-Payne, but like we told you so.
Told you.
How am I not married? Let me show you this video. God damn it,
bro. R-Payne, you got to go back and comment and be like, scroll back 8 videos. That's why you're not married.
There's your answer. And there's your answer.
Well, that's the second part of this thing. Let's tell her why she's not married. You know, you're not married because of all this other stuff. Hey, Ikane, what's going on, brother?
Not too much. How you doing, Mr. Payne?
All right. RBN gifted 5 black man unfiltered network memberships. That's great, man.
Oh man.
Make sure you appreciate that, everybody out there. RBN, yeah, thanks. Yeah, black man unfiltered network. Yeah.
Hey, yeah.
What you say?
I keep those memberships up too, y'all. That's dope, man. RBN, shout out to you, homie.
Oh yeah, Take Heed's in the audience. That's great. Grace jumped in and
Oh, salute to Take Heed.
yeah, yeah, man, great, man. Thanks for stopping by. RBN stopping by. Hey, well, the link is down there. If anybody wants to come up and add their 2 cents of our cynics, we'll give my
Mr.
money a
Penn,
chance.
Mr. Penn,
Go ahead, sir.
I thought you said the girl was coming on the show.
No, I didn't say the girl. I wish. I actually went back to see
Oh,
if I
okay.
could find it, but nah, yeah, it would have been nice. That would have been a coup if we could have got her to come on the show.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
okay.
had.
But if you saw the video, what's your opinion? What kind of advice would you give Ekene? You know, which African proverb would you be telling her about?
You can't tell her nothing. You
Okay.
can't tell her nothing because number one, this is somebody that goes outside and seek men's attention. Men are not approaching her. She's approaching men, number one. Number two, she looks like somebody that has been way gone. And she's trying to look for a husband. The problem is the kind of husband she's looking for is not the kind of husband you're willing to give. You see? So she's looking for people, the same guys that you guys complain about on the street. Drug dealers doing shit. Riding on a black tinted car going to 15 miles per hour in a neighborhood. You see what I'm saying? Those are the kind of guys she's looking for. She's not looking for somebody that is trying to make her a wife or trying to make sure that she's up in her game, like being straight, acting right, behaving right, all the 9 yards. She's not looking for that kind of person. So I don't have an advice for somebody like that. I can never give her an advice. Even a neck tattoo, you think she's going to lose that neck tattoo? Hell to the no. She will not lose that neck tattoo because to her, that's her attraction.
All right. So okay. So just like I tell Take Heed say hello to me too as well. Just like I said to everybody, all the stuff that you guys are saying is true. That's why I knew I had to try to start this whole streaming with my assumptions that she's a woman that, given her past, she's actually looking for a guy for her future. Now, if we're saying that everything she did in her 20s eliminates her from actually being able to mold and be wife material for almost anybody but a street thug, I got a little bit more hope for humanity than that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, since she's asking, right? If we were offering, yeah, but she put that out there. She might not believe it. I don't know. But I'm just saying, if we played along for a second before we just say, you know what, there's no hope for this chick, man, because she's out there. And what we've been saying on these same airwaves is that a lot of women who reach 30 or 31 are hopeless, because we know what they all did in their 20s, right? They got all kinds of trauma. They got all kinds of independence that they're talking about. And yet you hear some of them come on these airwaves asking, and some sincerely, what can I do to find me a guy to go forward with? Because if it was just any guy, they would have done it already. Right? So if they need a nudge or somebody to say the hard truth, hey, listen, you based on the way you live, the only kind of guys you attract are the guys you don't want.
Right.
That's the kind of guys because your appearance tells me that I'm good for a good time, but not for a long time.
Right.
You know? And so when a guy hits post-nut clarity with you, he just wants to leave, or he wants you to leave. So we had a whole show about women buying houses and how they use that as a badge of honor, you know, on a show last night. And one of the things is that I say, well, you know, they don't understand a few things because they can't see past what they want. Because the house you live in, is a liability, because you have to continue to invest on that to get the equity out of it. You could, and most people are house poor. You can't do anything else. So what the hell is you as a single woman want a house with 4 bedrooms in it, and you only sleeping in one, and you ain't got no man and nothing,
no kids
and no children. And so that's one thing. And then if you find a guy who's on his worth any grain of salt. He's not moving into your house. He's not going to do that. You know, so either you're going to put half of his the lease and half of his name, or he'll buy that half, so she don't have to hear your shit when you were getting the first argument. And you tell him this is my house, because that will happen. You know, so I don't know. I'm just trying to say, if we start out with saying this chick has some redeeming qualities, what would we tell her?
Right.
And I just stand by the fact that we're saying this chick has gone so far at 31, she will have no redeeming qualities whatsoever. I don't believe that.
She
look
might have
how many
redeeming
followers she got.
Oh, go ahead, JT.
I said, and look at how many followers she has.
Got a lot of followers.
Right.
575.6 thousand.
She got a lot of
zombie. Yep. The algorithm got her. But what I was going to say, Payne, is the issue isn't that there's no hope at 30, and like the it's not a pessimistic thing, because the reality of the situation is the hopeful part of this is the lesson that will be learned from all these spinsters that will be out here dying in the streets. Okay. It's cutting off the cancer. You got to 31 and didn't start making efforts. Right? You went all the way to 31, and now you want to turn around and ask, somebody help me with this mess of a life that I've created to not be accountable for that. And you're trying to give her a pass. That is why we are not moving. Not only that, we can go on the house thing. Oh, she's got a house. The problem within the Black community is we sell every asset off that comes across our fucking hands for some extra fucking money. That's why y'all are broke. If she's got a house, rent that motherfucker. Like, what are you talking about? She's bringing in an asset. You guys both need to live in one house. That means you have one house that becomes a source of income. This is not hard. You don't give up property. Simple rule that wealthy people follow.
If she's willing to sell half of it to you before you move in.
No. Payne, I don't need her to sell me shit. I'm keeping my house. I'll rent it. Fine. Income. Payne. If I get kicked out, guess what? That person gets kicked out. We're not renewing the lease. Okay. I get to go back to my house. Like I'm all for women having their own stuff, because there should be a set standard. I wouldn't want, if she wanted to live in my house, I'd be like, you're not getting rid of your house, because if I got to put you out, you need a place to go back to. No, you are not going to be my problem.
I agree with that. The only thing you said that I don't agree with is that you think I want to give them a pass. That's not true.
But you're going, how do we save these women? If she's at the point at 31 years old where she's asking, she's had from 18 to 31 to do whatever she wanted, and is now unattracted to the men she wants. There's no fixing that.
You're extrapolating what I said. This is one lady and one example, as if we could not.
And she has made it to 31 with her neck tattoo and her arm tattoo, and lived her life the way that she wanted. We looked through her thing. We looked through her feed, and I am right. And she's now asking, and you're trying to give her a pass. Like, no, you don't get a pass. You get to have the help that you look. No. From your generation, Payne, from your generation, my uncle used to tell me this shit all the time. You made that bed, you lay in it, and you like it.
Yes.
You made that. You did that.
Ray, I hear you, but I'm not trying to give her a pass. I'm just trying to say, I'm not trying to give her a pass. I'm just saying, since she's asking, what will we tell her? And what you just said might be part of what she needs to hear.
Well, what I would honestly tell her is, I'd tell her, the men that you are looking for are not attracted to you. At your age, they're most likely not going to be attracted to you. So you need to work something out. You need to work something out.
I'm sorry, y'all.
No, you good. I was like, and so I tell her, you need to work something out with somebody that's within your class, not the class that you think you're in, where you're actually at in life. Probably not a drug dealer. I'd find somebody who does a legal job, but because we keep saying that, oh, she's shooting at the wrong targets. Like, no, if you're constantly being approached by crappy people, you're a crappy person. That's a you thing. You need to change you, and then the people that are supposed to be around you will be around you. When I went to the club this weekend, I got out here in these streets. I was active. The one ratchet black chick at the club did not approach me. You know why? Because I don't carry myself like a piece of shit. Like, it was simple as that. She looked over and was like, "Oh shit, he's Jack. He looks nice." And I looked at her like, "Who the fuck are you looking at?" And she turned the fuck around and walked off. Like, like it's not hard. It's really not hard, Arpaid. And people know who they can fuck with and who they can't. And the reason she's getting approached by trash men that she doesn't like is because she believes that she deserves a good man. She does not carry herself in that way, and she does not put herself in the lane to be around those men. And when she does, they're not interested because they can see it all.
Let me just say this. Just say you're not only saying she didn't carry. You're saying it's impossible for her to carry herself that way.
I'm not saying that it's impossible. What I'm saying is that 31 years.
It's improbable.
Arpain. This is the thing that I'll tell you, and it's the reason that I don't agree with how approaching people where they're at all the time. I'm consistent with everybody that I encounter. If I bring a girl home and it's a one-off, I treat her like she's my girlfriend. I treat all women exactly the same. I'll put you back in the street. You can't stay here, but I'm not changing the way that I navigate with anyone because of them, because I'm a fucking man. That's how men carry themselves. And I'm sorry if this ruffles feathers, but a lot of y'all, I mean, honestly, like in bear tax, the reason you're not as successful as you should be is because you're not consistent across the board. You go, I'm going to try here. I'm going to do this here. I'm going to approach this like this because I don't care about it. You're training yourself how you act. It's the reason a lot of men have problems in relationships because you want to approach people where they're at and you're not fucking consistent in yourself. This woman has went her whole life doing dudes how she does them. When you get the one that you want, she's going to fuck that up too because she has more experience fucking people over and acting how she acts, which is not attractive to the men she wants, than she does acting right. That's what she taught herself. So she has to unlearn decades of action.
I got a question for Mr. Wayne. I got a question for you. You know Tasha K, right?
Yeah.
And she has over 1 million subscribers, right? And she's married. One thing that we know in this space, in YouTube space, is that any woman that has content, or maybe what do they call it? Instagram, all of them. Any woman that has content seeks attention, right? If Tasha K wasn't married, do you think she would ever get married? If she wasn't married before she started, this YouTube stuff, do you think she would ever get married?
I think that if she was willing to accept the men who were pursuing her for marriage, yes, any woman can get married to anybody. They don't want to get married to anybody. The women that are married, they're married to those men for a specific reason.
Right. She's a horrible wife. She's a horrible
wife. I'm glad you said that because I'm heading somewhere with this. The reason why I say this is this. When a woman wants to marry, when a woman is dealing with a man, they will usually deal with people much lower than them. And I have a reason for saying this. I'm talking about women with attitude, women with character, women that seek attention. They will usually seek for men much lower than them. Because you know why? It's power to them and it's also tolerance to them. Because a man are equal, not tolerator.
I agree with that 100%.
So that is why you see women are very careful. If a woman deals with you and she wants to have sex with you to blow your mind off, she has to know the kind of man you are. Are you a man that is going to judge her for her actions? If you are, she will act like she's a virgin. She's never had sex before. In fact, I've seen women act like you were the first person that took their virginity, even though they've had 50 men before. But they will just act like that was the first sex that they've ever had. In fact, you just took my virginity. Oh, I'm bleeding down there.
Damn.
And they make you think like you're stupid. And you know right in your face that, man, this hoe is white. I'm not the first guy. But she just make you think like you're the first guy.
Mm-hmm.
And now you're confused. So it comes down to the thing is that when they want to get a man, not accept the men that are coming for them, but get the one that will tolerate them, they go for the shittiest of the shittiest.
Facts.
So is it going to be possible for her to get married? Yes, but is it going to be possible for her to get the one that will get her in the game? Impossible. That's why the impossible comes in. I have never seen any woman that has been for the street that end up getting a man that is above her or at her level. No, I have not seen that. And another thing that I'm going to say is this, right? The reason why it's impossible for her is this. When a woman is at the age of 25, if she's been there, done that, men usually will give a woman 25 and under grace because she has not been set in her ways yet. When she gets a man, because women at the age of 25 and lower seek knowledge, they respect men that have knowledge. They respect men that know it because her front tube has not developed completely. But once she's 27 and above, it's hard. It's hard for a man to teach her anything because number one, she will push back. That's the age that women push back. From 27 and up, most women push back. If you're telling her something, she know you're right, and she know that this thing is correct, that this thing is going to help her, she will push back because she's not letting her state her opinion. Even though that this is a decision that has to be made in 3 seconds, she don't give a damn about her 3 seconds because her opinion matters for something that will get her in trouble in 3 seconds. Because her feelings is what comes first, not the consequences, because women at the age of 27 don't believe in consequences.
All right. So, but real quick, hey, Mr. Payne, if you had something to say on this, that would be great too. But these guys, they won't even let me do my hypothetical, man. I mean, but still, hey, Trey Ferg, you have anything else? Hey, but Ekene, you got some more to say? Hey, or take heed, you out there. If you have something from a woman's perspective, is there no hope for a 31-year-old? None?
Not that there is no hope for 31-year-old, Mr. Payne. No. Not listen. This is
that's underneath her, right? She's got to get a man that's underneath her.
Well, our pain. My question is this: what successful man is going to pursue that unless he's like 60? Because then a 30-year-old, like that's something fresh for you. But we're talking about being successfully married in the regards of the women that the women in regards of the men that the women say that they want to pursue the highest value. Why would hypothetical? If I'm dating, why would I take a 31-year-old if I could have a 25 or a 23-year-old? Like, why would I do that? Like, why?
If you answer me a question, let me answer. One, you wouldn't. You wouldn't do that. But what I'm trying to say, but that scenario goes for every man who can get a younger woman. But they don't all do. They just don't all do that. All those men who are successful don't all go get the 25-year-old when they have a 35-year-old in hand. What's up, Trigger?
Well, no. But
down there, come on up. But no, your scenario is a broad one. Why would a man get a 31-year-old?
What I'm saying is
a 25-year-old. He wouldn't.
The situation though is you're competing. So the 31-year-old who's just been so my hypothetical, I'm coming from a perspective of these are just club girls. I'm a club baddie. I was cute and I went and rode the carousel, and now I'm 31 and I want to settle down. But you're a club girl, so your personality, your mentality, your mindset, you are a club girl. You're like, I'm hot. Your descriptors of yourself include appendages and including in what you bring to the table.
Okay.
The women who are over 30 that carry themselves as women, there is hope for them because they're going to be able to go in and add value. The women who are like the one that we're describing right now that just doesn't understand why with her big booty and 800 credit score, she doesn't have a man and she's not married. They have nothing to offer over the 25-year-old. If I'm gonna have a dummy, I'm gonna have a dummy that's an age appropriate dummy. You can't be dumb at 31. Like, what are you talking about? Like, and that's not to say that there's not women that are older. There's women that are plenty older than 30 that have no problem getting another man after they get out of a relationship because they're women. They're not 31-year-old girls. A woman is not in competition with a 25-year-old technically unless the 25-year-old is really mature and carries herself as a woman as well. Then you could have that conversation. But and I'm not speaking any ill on any relationship, but I'm just saying if Take Heed was ever to get divorced or lose her husband, she would get another man because she carries herself as a woman.
Yes.
She
ain't
ain't
even trying
no
to
one
think that.
competing with her.
Look, she ain't trying to think
that. Ray, what you're telling me though, right, is that the example of a woman that we show in this particular stream is the wrong example, right? If I were to put up another 31-year-old woman who carried herself a little bit better, then you would have a different conversation, right?
I would still think it would be weird. It would be weird. It would be a red flag that she's doing it on TikTok. I would be like, that's a red flag.
All the fucking women are on social media. That can't be a red flag. Just like
it isn't.
Not in and itself. Not
bro,
in
our pain. My ex-girlfriend, the only pictures. Listen, our pain. Go ahead and finish. I'm sorry.
Let me just finish this. It can't be just a red flag because you're on social media. That's the age we live in. You'll call me an old man, but everybody's on social media in some way, shape, form, or fashion. Just like the men in the West. We've long since given up trying to get a virgin as a wife. I mean, at some point, the goddamn goalpost has been moved a little bit. So that means there's a certain amount of grace that we're giving people for just living in the goddamn West. Right? So now the internet, so I'm just saying, this is the reason why I put those assumptions out there, because exactly this conversation we're having, because I could look at the woman and agree 100% with what you just said. But I was trying to say, if we had an opportunity to put a woman back on course, even though they were off course for 31 years, can we do it? Now, listen, this is not to discount anything you said or what Trey said. I agree with you. I was just trying to set the scenario if we had an opportunity with. I just happened to use this girl, and only happened to use her because she asked the question.
The question that I would posit back to you is: would you take some filth from the street, get it back on track, and have your son marry it?
Okay. All right. No, I wouldn't. But
Thank you.
No, I wouldn't. So
you
look
point.
You look at her as filth, and that's it. Okay, man. Mr. Bennett, man, welcome aboard. And
Good evening,
give me your sage thoughts on this thing. If you saw the video and all that kind of stuff.
Yes, I did. I was walking my dog when you were playing all this stuff.
Based on Ray, she's the dog, man.
And our pain. If you want, I have a young man's perspective on why he's single too. If you would like that later on in the conversation,
we can do that too. Yeah, sure.
Just let me know when you want to play it. But all right,
after Mr. Bennett goes, Mr. Bennett goes, you can play it.
Yeah. I'll be right back, y'all.
Okay.
Sure. I mean, basically, it's like almost every point that she made, she could have put an FU after it. You know what I'm saying? It's basically, it's like, I got an 800 credit score, FU. I got 2 cars, FU. It's like you're talking about you want a husband, but your whole job description is how you don't need one. So, so what is it? So it's like every point she had like sort of 2 middle fingers up. And I don't know too many guys who just, want that kind of energy when dealing with someone. I mean, men, just in general, we like someone who has a sense of vulnerability, but she's built this shell of invulnerability around her. So again, why pick you since you got everything on lock? You got your house, you got your cars. What do you really need me for except to be a sperm donor? So that would be a big turnoff. But just overall, yeah, I mean, just her whole ways. I mean, my biggest peeves, 3 biggest peeves that is just automatic turn off. This was in my document that I wrote years ago: smoking, tattoos, and a foul mouth. And usually, especially someone's going to lead with that. that's going to be an automatic turn off. Like I said, I'm from that generation where, again, you used to have a tattoo, but it was easily covered up. It was in an intimate space, and it was maybe about this big. But once you start bringing it to the arms and the sleeves and the neck and the face and whatnot, again, it's basically a middle finger that you're giving to everybody. Like, this is who I am. You don't have to like me or whatever. I'm putting it in your face. And so with that kind of attitude, a lot of women, again, they could be played with. They could be, you can, have fun with them, but they're not trying to be necessarily your wife. They're trying to be who they are, and you're going to have to accept me no matter what. And there's no compromise in that regard. So, yeah, so she's going to be, perpetually in that state of singleness. And just from seeing the other videos and whatnot that she's doing, yeah, she's putting herself out there too much. I don't think if she did get mad, if the right guy did come along, if he said, look, get off the gram, would she do it? I don't think so. So again, I just think they're just the way she carries herself. She's built an image. She's built a life for herself that I don't think she's necessarily willing to give up, which is certainly one of the reasons why I'm certainly a big fan of women getting married earlier. Once you hit 30 and you're not married yet, it's oftentimes it's very difficult, unless maybe if you're still living at home at your father's house or something like that. But it's oftentimes very difficult for anyone, even a guy, in my opinion, to really cohabitate, to really say, okay, we're going to leave what we knew and we're going to make something together. But it's always going to be, again, this is where you get the two separate bank accounts and whatnot. That one pot theory, more times than not, goes out the window because you've been doing it your way for so long. It's hard for you to compromise. So, I mean, I say, look, get married in your early 20s. By 25, get out the market if that's what you truly want. If a guy's there, build with a guy. I don't think the guy necessarily has to be 35 or 40 years old, but start early. And and again, the longest marriages I know, one, they were the cheapest to get married. They weren't saving for a $50,000 wedding. Secondly, they were the humblest. When they got married, it was a single apartment somewhere, or they got this couch off the street or whatever, or they lived with the parents for a while, but they built over time. But everyone wants to be like in, getting two people in that status where, okay, I got my house, my cars, my investments, I got everything together. Then I'm like, still, you can have some sort of partnership and, have some kids and, decide to separate it when the kids turn 18 or whatever. But to me, that's not a marriage to me. I mean, I think marriage is about, losing yourself and becoming one with someone else. And the longer you wait to get married, the harder it is for you to become one with someone else. So that's my, that's my 2 cents on it.
Good. Yeah, that's good. I mean, again, like what you said, what Ray said, it's all true. And I think it was a good I think it's a good exercise to kind of look at where she's at. Man. If she was 25, maybe our conversation would be a little different, even if she looked the way she did look. So that's good. So I mean, there is a dividing line there, and like what you said about building with somebody. I remember me and my wife, our first apartment, we had squirrels running across the.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So we had to get out of there, man.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of stuff going on. So you kind of grow with somebody, and I did a stream on that, I think last week, telling people we got to change the narrative to the young folks that it's okay to get married young, as long as you have certain things in perspective. And you have around. Go ahead, Trey.
It's not the man who is not putting out the narrative to marry young. It's the women.
That's enough men doing it too, but you're right though. Women do it for the most part.
Yeah, I mean,
but you're right. Yeah, women just kind of live and die on a stupid hill.
But the problem with the women is this. I asked this on the panel a couple of days ago.
Okay, go ahead.
If women are telling young women to go out, get a career, go to college, do all of these great things, why are those same women that's saying that going after the same guy that the young woman would qualify for? And the response I got was, the hell with those young girls. I gotta get what I gotta get. So you telling them and basically setting them up for failure when you tell them go out, but then you're coming back, double backing and saying, okay, I want this guy that this young woman will qualify for. So you're creating damn, I don't know, a cesspool of overpopulated single women because, like Brother Bennett said, and we always said, you start young. It's almost like the episodes of the Cosbys where his oldest daughter and what's the guy, I forget his name, they built together.
Yeah, Elvin.
Elvin. And that's the type of marriage that lasts because it's not based on what either one has. It's about them losing a part of who they are to focus on building the family. And I think that's going to be to our detriment going into the future if we don't try to at least get back. I would just hope if we could just get back to 50% marriage rate, I'll be cool with that. If we can get back to 50%, because right now where we're going, it's just going to be a whole bunch of single people out here just screwing and having orgies and creating a whole cesspool for people who want to be married because they're going to preach to these younger folk, go out here, be single, live by yourself. And at some point, that house note will be too much for that young lady. At some point, it's going to be overwhelming once all of those things start kicking in. So, ladies, cut a deal. If you're at a point in your life where you have everything, just cut a deal. A guy will be glad to come in and help you, but you got to cut a deal.
But the trend is actually going in the reverse. People are seeing these bad outcomes. They're seeing their mothers, the angry aunties, having bad outcomes, having bad lives, having to work hard, having to do everything themselves and hating every second of it while sitting simultaneously on social media talking about how they're the boss bitch. They're seeing it. They're literally seeing it. Like, I mean, they've seen a shift, and it's not necessarily so much the women, but it's within the men, and it's across culture. Mm-hmm. Men are becoming way more conservative because of the terrible outcomes that they're seeing. They're becoming even more repulsed by the liberation that they're having to sit and watch. They're disgusted by it. So the result of that will be those women are going to have continual bad outcomes, and eventually the women will come back in the line because they're just going to be out there by themselves.
Got it.
Yeah, I was Mr. Payne. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. You can go ahead.
Okay, Mr. Payne. Yesterday, when you were listening to my channel, let me refresh your memory. This is what I said. I said that parents, this is not just women or aunties that are advising them. Parents at 80% spend 12 years to 16 years putting these girls through school until the very day they get their degree is 16 years. Am I correct? But why is it that these girls are not put through 3, 4, 5 years of domestic activity and also how to be a wife? Why are they? We spend money to educate people that we've been told that are less educated, and now they're almost the most educated, right? Depending on which degree they're getting. But guess what they gave up for what they're getting? And what they gave up is what guaranteed their legacy. But what they are getting is what made them jobless when they turn 52 or 55. So I had somebody telling me the other day that men are the ones putting women in this situation at a different show. She said that men are the ones putting women in this situation. I said to her, no, that women are choosing it because women are object of social creature. They love socialite. So I said to her, we are advising women to be mindful of these men. And she would not budge. And even though I told her many times that we are advising women to be mindful of these men, because one thing you have to look into is this. When a man turns 27, he becomes more conservative in nature. His party ways slow down. Any woman that he deals with, he wants to marry. In fact, some of us started at the age of 25. Some of us started at the age of 22. I started looking for wife as early as when I was 22. I didn't get married until I met my current wife, and we went together for 9 years, which I'm still mad at myself for staying that long, or 8 years. I'm still mad at myself for staying that long. But guess what? I made up my mind to get married at the age of 22. Most men want to marry early. Most men want to start family early. But the problem we have is that the opposite species doesn't want to do that. She want to go out there and have fun. Because if, like I tell somebody recently, I said to them, the reason why girls marry in their 30s is not because of men. It's not. It has nothing to do with men. It's the fact that they want to go out there and rock their life. Because I know girls that almost got married to. Every single one of them want to go out first and enjoy life. They want to go out there in the club. They want to go have fun. So it has nothing to do with men at all. Men have always wanted to be married. Men have always wanted to to have a legacy to transfer their wealth to. Women choose not to, but guess what they would do? A woman once told me that yes, that the decision she didn't make was my fault. I was like, huh? She said, because I'm the man. I'm like, you must be out of your goddamn mind.
Yeah, well, you got it. JT, you got that video cranked? What do you want to show us? Whatever. Hey, I hear you though, Econator. You're right, man. I mean, the narrative has to change in a lot of different ways, man, and that's one of them. And I agree with you. Men tend to want to get married earlier. Ladies talk about having fun. They blame it on men, but they don't blame it on men for the reason why you say. They blame it on all the dicks they took that the guy didn't stay. That's what they're blaming on, the trauma they built up. Anyway, go ahead. Go ahead. Play that.
I'm single. I ain't dating nobody.
And why are you single?
Because my past relationship just fucked me up. Every time I talk to this person, it just wasn't enough. Everything I did wasn't enough. And I used to ask myself, I used to ask God, like, why is it so hard to please somebody? I'm single. I ain't dating nobody.
And why are you single?
Because my past relationship just fucked me up. Every time I talk to this person, it just wasn't enough. Everything I did wasn't enough. And I used to ask myself, I used to ask God, like, why is it so hard to please somebody?
All right, JT, you go ahead and start out. What do you get out of this?
Man. Well, as you can see, this is a young man, right? And I guarantee he's looking at women the same way that the women are looking at men. They're looking at the aesthetics of that person. They're not actually cognizant of what it is that they look for in a person. They've been conditioned to look for people as far as the bullshit that we hear, this narrative. When you hear people that talking about, when you hear people, talking about this shit is fake, these talking points are YouTube talking points. I don't think so. I beg to differ. I think it bleeds over here into YouTube because these are real issues. Relationships are very real. So when you have a young man like this, I can guarantee if we go and look at his IG or whatever it is that he's looking, he's trying to present to these women that he has some type of motion. This is the new shit that these young folks are saying, motion, which means that he got the car and he got the clothes. You can see what he wearing, and then you can see the grill. I don't know if you guys can actually see, but a lot of these cats be paying for, got shit in their mouth that they can't really even afford, or it be some fake shit that they make it look like they got some type of motion. So what he's doing is he's connecting himself to superficial people. And so when he comes and say, well, I'm single because I can't please this person, well, first and foremost, You won't hear too many young men talking about, well, you didn't hear it in the previous generations in this way. One of the reasons is because we'll move on to the next one. If we get hurt, we don't really talk to a lot of people about what we heard about. We talk about what we mad about, what we upset about, but we will never talk about what we are hurt about. So now you have this generation that's out, Generation Z, that's out here dating and I don't know what the fuck they doing because they show they marrying each other, but I think they just been led the wrong way, man, and this is what we're going to be seeing a lot of right now. I
All
am
right, so let me ask you. I mean, well, let me just ask you this question. I don't know how many relationships you had that turned sour, but it's kind of distressing to hear a guy talking about I don't want to date no more because one chick broke his heart or just didn't listen to him. That's just really defeatist. I've never heard of this shit. Maybe I'm glad I'm old.
Well,
Yes,
our pain. How many times have you touched a hot stove?
just
You just
once,
keep running your hand, right?
just once,
I
right?
mean, look. It only takes one bad one to make somebody. I mean, I'm not. I agree with you, but I understand. I mean, I like. I understand it's different because, like I said, like y'all paired up early. Like you've been out the game for a minute. You had a long, happy life, bro. But like some of
No,
these chicks out here.
before you go further, I did have a dating life before I met my wife, right?
No.
I'm
I
17 years.
understand that, but
Go
what
ahead.
I'm saying is we've all talked to people who have had serious trauma inflicted upon them. I mean, I have too, and I still date. I still date, but I understand. I mean, you,
I'm
how many times are you going to get put through the ringer for people that like you thought were for you that did you the dirtiest you've ever been done in your life, and they're somebody that you brought in? Like that is not easy. Like it's not. It's like we keep talking about it like y'all just got curb stomped all the time, like broken hearted. Like no, you like our pain. I'm just saying the dirt that y'all was doing wasn't public. You didn't get curb stomped and publicly humiliated, and then have everybody pointing and laughing at you like you goofy, like these kids are nowadays. Because this
True,
stuff's all public. These chicks
true,
are airing people out publicly. They're shaming men publicly, and we all know that when a woman leaves a man, she doesn't just want to leave him; she wants him destroyed, and they have the means with which to do it from a psychological perspective if you're not really on your square and mentally there to deal with the aftermath, because now it's not a matter of me and Susie broke up and I'm just not going to answer the phone when she calls and she's got to call my landline, and if I'm not home then I ain't got to worry about talking to this bitch. Like she's posting about you on Facebook, on Instagram, on Snapchat. Everybody in the city knows who you are. These chicks have back channels where they just talk shit and shit on dudes. So like if you bag more than 5 chicks in the city that you're in, you on this list. Like I mean, I hook up with chicks now that are like, yeah, like this is what so and so said about you in the back channel. Because I've been around, bro. Like I
Mhm.
know what these chicks are doing, and and that's the stuff that's not public. It's just amongst them to give you a bad name amongst women. So there's that piece of it as well. And these are chicks that will see you in public that you do right by, that will still talk shit about you. And I mean, like I said, it's this is a personal deal for me because I carry myself consistently. But like, I help out all my exes if they need it. I'll never go back out with them, but I'm like, yo, if you need something, you need financial advice on like what to do with some inheritance money, bet I got you. You need help getting onboarded into crypto, bet I got you. And they're people. These are some of these women. Literally, I will be out with a chick that I'm dating, and they'll catch them in the bathroom and be like, "Oh, you got to watch out for him. He's an asshole." And I'm like, "Bitch, I helped you move 15 grand. Like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about?" Because if they leave, they want you destroyed. There's nothing more painful to a woman than to see a man that she previously had and rejected better.
I agree with that part. Yes, I do.
And so when these breakups happen, they can get nasty. These divorces are getting nasty.
Oh yeah.
Like women are abusing children to get at men who are divorcing them while still trying to take resources from them and doing the kids that they made together wrong. There's a reason that people feel this way, and I'm not saying that it's right. But to sit there and just throw it under the rug because you've been married for 20 years in a time when you didn't have to deal with any of the after effects that modern people in dating have to deal with. You were not publicly shamed. You were publicly shamed of the 5 people that bitch had access to at the time, not the world.
So, Ray, I have a
All
question
right,
for
so
you.
listen,
Like,
I didn't completely dismiss the guy. I mean, he seems kind of real young to me, man, for being back chatted the way you said. But I
well, I
do
mean,
understand what's going
they're
on.
soft. They're
But
also soft. I'm not going to say they're not soft, but again, who raised these people? Who made them? Every person that exists came out of a dick and a
okay,
vagina. So
okay.
who's raising them? Is it a single mother situation where he got raised because he was soft? Why isn't the dad there? Why isn't as a woman, why isn't she putting him in a position where she's around men so he knows how to mitigate his emotions and deal with this shit? But I mean, there's a bunch of things that we can look at, but like that doesn't discredit the fact that it
Okay,
hurts.
so let
Breaking
me
an
ask
arm
you a different.
hurts.
Ray, let me ask you a different question. Okay, I don't know how
Okay.
young that man is. Let's just say he's 25 or whatever, 30, 20. You look, he's 25, maybe even a little younger. But say his father was around, he would at most be a Gen Xer. All right.
Hmm.
And the Gen Xers
Right.
are kind of in the same league with some of the older ones, like with the younger baby boomers who went out there, got rejected. They didn't have the social media shit that could back chat them.
Right.
Suppose
Right.
his father said, "Yo, man, don't you whining to me over this shit." And he goes to his father, "Hey, man, you hadn't had to live through the goddamn back chat and the women fucking trying to destroy you and all that kind of stuff. So it ain't just me talking." If he had a father, what would his father say to him? He would be saying some of the shit that I would say. And would he just look at his father and just spell what his father's telling him? I don't give a shit that your shit is magnified to the umph power. You still got to get your ass out there and move. Right? You know what I'm
Hun,
saying? So it's
hun,
not just
yeah.
old, it's just not old rhetoric. I mean, he's still gotta
But
live,
but
regardless.
it's diff. You're 100% correct. But watching somebody go through it is different. Like it's you can I can sit here and conceptualize a lot of things, but Arpane, can you sit and conceptualize going through a miscarriage with a chick who you know cheated on you and holding a baby fetus that was dead that you don't know was yours? Can you say that you've experienced that
No,
yourself?
no,
Because
not
I
not
fucking have.
no, I
Okay,
couldn't.
so you can't even empathize with like that situation. You can go, oh well, you got to get up and get over it. 100%, you're right. I did. That didn't make it not a soul crushing experience.
I agree with that. I agree with
I
that.
mean,
So, but
Like,
your empathy could go only so far to
true,
the
true,
point
but
you try to get
it's the
across to that
level of
man.
dismissiveness of the
No,
way
no, no.
that you
I'm not
spoke.
trying to
Ray,
dismiss him. I'm trying to have a conversation with you, Ray, because you're right.
Yeah.
But the level of empathy that his father has to have a limit to. He says, "Son, I understand you're hurting. I might not understand all of it, but
Hmm.
regardless of how bad it is, what do we need to do to get you set back on the right path? Because
Exactly.
so
Exactly.
that's
So see, that's different though. That's the father guiding him through it. But the father would also have been there. He's seeing play by play what's going on with his kid. Going, fuck, like that's messed up. That's messed up. Like I'm seeing it. I'm right here. It's just like that strikes a nerve with me when we're pontificating about a person's situation when somebody says something like that, and like you can hear the hurt in his voice. And we're sitting here looking from the outside. We don't have an emotional connection to this man.
yeah, but
Like we don't,
that's
and
why I
he
set
didn't
the
divulge the
scenario, Ray.
details. He didn't divulge.
That's why I just
Ray,
set the scenario
He
differently.
also didn't
But
divulge the
Ray, you
details
ain't
of what he
listening
went
to
through.
me. That's why I set the
Yeah,
scenario differently,
yeah,
as if
yeah,
I was his a relative of his, because I know where you were going with that, but that's not
yeah,
where I was coming from. I'm saying you still got to tell this guy something. So if I had to be his father
yeah,
to do it,
yeah.
okay, make me his
right.
father then. If I had a son in that situation, what would I say? It wouldn't be too much different than what I just said when we didn't have that scenario going. But I would add the extra stuff that you're talking about because I'll be
Okay.
telling him with love, right? So I could dig the
Right,
distinction.
right, right.
I can dig that. All right, I got you. I got you. I don't want to be heartless against the guy, but I know where
No,
it came off that way. I
Okay.
can see that. I can see
but
that.
like that's
Okay.
the stem of where that's the stem of where the whole MGTOW movement comes from, though. It's guys that go through that and they're just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Imagine going
Oh,
through that like 4 times. Because like I mean, we're dealing with a worse caliber of woman at this point. Imagine going through a traumatic experience like 4 in a row. Like, are you gonna like that's my question is like, what's the expectation? I understand this is like luck of the draw type stuff, and it's like choose better, you got to vet. But when you're seeing people who've been married as long as you have, our pain, and their wife starts going through menopause, wakes up and just decides she's running away with her 13-year-old sweetheart that she found on Facebook
Yeah,
for no
bye.
reason, and like fuck,
yeah.
you say that, but you
Right.
facilitated the life for this woman for 20 years. Like you say that like it's a joke. Like if your wife woke up tomorrow and said, "Fuck you, I'm out. I'm going to shack up with my 13-year-old sweetheart," that she would not be crushed. That is a lie. Like I've seen
Right.
men much wealthier than
Right.
anyone on this panel
I have a question.
borderline break down over that because they
Trey, after
facilitated
he's
for this
finished, you
woman.
go, Trey, after he's finished.
Okay.
That's all I'm saying. I'm just saying like it's not something that you just shrug off.
I got you. Got you.
I
Good,
went,
Trey.
I, went, I went to the washroom when you played the video, so I didn't see the video. I didn't see that.
You want to play it again, JT?
Yeah.
It's short.
Yeah, I didn't think it was long because I was.
You want me to play the one with the guy or the one
Yeah,
with
the
the
guy
guy?
the one with
No,
the guy.
the young
The guy.
guy, the young guy.
Okay.
And then I just come in from that.
All right. Here we go.
I'm single. I ain't dating nobody.
And why are you single?
Cause my past relationship just fucked me up. Every time I talk to this person, it just wasn't enough. Everything I did wasn't enough, and I used to ask myself. I used to ask God, like, why is it so hard to please somebody? I'm saying.
That's it.
Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, Trey. You got something to say about that?
Listen. This is as Ray speak, it's a real big disconnect from men of my time and Gen X's from today, because when you're a teenager in that time, you probably get turned down 5 times within a week. Every girl you probably get turned down, but it wasn't the end all be all, and we wasn't leading with money or anything like that. We was just trying to put her, if we can talk to her and we can hang out with her and, just do something, buy a little something, if that was the case, a little meal. It wasn't too many fancy restaurants around. Your ass was going to Applebee's, Olive Garden, Chili's or somewhere, and was that Red Lobster was the hit. All the females still eat them damn biscuits. At least they look like they eating biscuits. But just based off this young man, listen, man. When I say he was about 19, 20, no more than 21. Man, I don't know. You got to take rejection with a grain of salt. That's almost like your building blocks. You ain't ready to be a man yet. She probably ain't ready to be a woman yet. It's just unfortunate, especially today's time, because everybody looking for something like extravagant starting out. So, if you putting a lot into it, you need to start really focusing on self, loving self. I see that a lot of brothers don't love their self. You got to love yourself above all. Outside, I guess you can put your mama first if she's a good mama, or daddy first. But the people that love you, you love them back. But you put yourself above all amongst other people outside your household. When you're young and you get caught up in situations where a woman's not really, trying to make you her man and build a future with you, now you can start looking at yourself. What is it that you want for yourself? You cannot spend 20 years chasing booty. You will be a broke ass dude. Go out and start seeing other parts of the country, other parts of the world, whatever it takes. You have to figure something out so when you can put yourself in a position for the tables to turn. Young women are being told, go out and see the world. That's what they're saying. Go out, have your fun, get your education, do what you got to do. And they do that because they hear it from women. They hear it from mama, the aunties that sit around. They hear it from all of them. Young brothers, now is the greatest time. If y'all see what's out there, now is the greatest time to get focusing on yourself. Find something that your ass like to do or can do or interested in doing. Right now, you can't take these little teenage years and say, oh, she broke my heart and now I ain't fucking with nobody for 20 years. No. You only gonna meet 3 women in your life. The rest you just gonna play with anyway. And you have to really be serious about what you're looking for. If you don't know, ask somebody, what are some things I can look for in a woman? Even if your list is 20, at least you have something that you're looking for. And you go through your list and see what can be thrown out, what can you negotiate with, or what you sticking to. Because most of these women, y'all raised by the same mamas. So what's the difference? How do y'all expect somebody to have something that you ain't got and you don't know how to get it either? But you won't listen to the elders because they can tell you how to get it. They can't tell you how to live it, but they can tell you how to get it. You got to live it yourself. And if you stay focused on chasing
Why
girls,
would I settle for less when I can have exactly what the fuck I want? Why would I settle for?
That's true. You can have all the shoes you want, all the wigs you want. You can get all that, but you ain't gonna get the man you want. And only women that talk like that are women when they start getting in their 30s. Women are easy. Teenage years, they'll do whatever. 20s, they'll do whatever. 30, I'm looking for a husband. Why ain't I married? 40, they're like, fuck you niggas. That's what they do. When they get 37, fuck you niggas. That's what they saying it. They saying it. So
Hey, Trey, at
I'm
least
just
you ain't
saying,
getting
man.
the old man spanking like I got from fucking Ray, man.
Hey man, I'll take an old man spanking. I'm an old man.
But
You
no,
get the old man
no.
spanking. I got the old man spanking and shit.
Trey,
But
But hey,
listen,
man, you
our
those some good
Payne.
words there, brother. That's some good words, man.
Look at how he approached it, though. Our Payne. He came in with understanding and a little hint of empathy. That's all it takes.
That was after the old man spanking and shit, so he knew better.
But
That's
hey, bro. Hey,
But
bro.
this is
When
my
I
last
start
thing.
letting loose, it gets reckless around here. You know what it
This is
is.
the last thing I want to say. If you're a young man and young woman, get your ass off YouTube. Go out and live the damn world. Go meet each other and start talking to each other. Stop listening. And listen, I don't know people's background or what. Stop listening to that 35-year-old who done had his heart broke or had her heart broke, that ain't doing shit, that's mad at the world. Stop listening to them. They'll take your ass for 30 years that ain't no good niggas, ain't no good women. No, you got to go live life, man. At least if a woman treating you bad, go work out. You should be strong in the motherfucker if a woman turning you down every day. Your testosterone should be through the roof. You should be trying to work on your career or something, because guess what? At 35 and 40, we all fucking age out. And I ain't talking about with the women. I'm talking about in the workforce. Your ass ain't did shit in all that time. Guess where you going to be working at? Lifting ass boxes at Amazon, Walmart. That's what the hell you going to be doing, unload them damn semi-trucks with a bad back. So right now, man, it's the greatest time for a brother and a sister, if you really think about it.
Hey, brothers, is this true?
let me address
Anissa?
this. Let me address this. Let me address this issue because when I see
Yeah.
people make that type of statement,
I
I
don't
want
think most men
these
under
ladies.
25 is ready for marriage. That's what you're talking about, David?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
let me
he's reading
address
it
it.
fast.
Since a lot of them want to mention this statement among the black community, have you been paying attention to the other ethnic group at what age they're getting married and what age they're building a family, and by the time they reach their 30, their wealth is 2 or 5 times more than yours? Have you
Yep.
ever paid attention to that? This is why I say what I said. Your black community will remain at the bottom with that type of mindset and will stay there forever. Period. I'm in Brooklyn, New York. There are 3 to 4 dudes at the corner that I go get my food from that already got married already under the age of 25. and they're building their wealth up already. And they're not black, mind you, they're Middle Eastern. I'm seeing that with other ethnic groups. When you talk like that and you think like that, you shoot yourself in both foot and your kneecap. Clean. Forget I'm African. There are multiple ethnic groups in this country, and they're not paying attention to the type of nonsense we're talking about. They are building generational wealth. Keyword, generational wealth. When we look at the average income for Black American family, we are below other ethnic groups. While all the other ethnic groups are coming in with little to nothing, they're getting married young and building wealth over time. Their wealth surpass yours. And you're wondering how they get there. But when you think like that, it's because you don't see the big picture.
Yeah, but Black David, this is the
You would
thing.
never see the big picture. I could care less what anybody says. I was trying to come here tonight, but now I'm taking off the gloves. And you're wondering why we have a nation of baby mamas within the Black communities.
But stay right there, Black David. This is the question though. Is her observation wrong?
Yeah, he just said it though. Yeah, he said it's wrong. Hey,
Her
but
observation, but this is what I'm saying. Listen, and I'm pretty sure that she's speaking in the Black community. What she said, do you guys really think that that is wrong? Do you think that we have more people under 25 that are ready for marriage?
Nope.
listen,
No, I wouldn't say. No, I wouldn't say. I wouldn't say that at all. I think the stat is. I think the stat is correct, but it certainly there needs to be. I think a different way we do things.
Right.
Now, again, the
Right.
communities that Black David was talking about. One thing that that is different for all those communities, which they have in common, it is a community. It is multi-generational.
Mhm.
So again, for us, it's like we have, we got into our minds that being married means, moving out, have my own house, all that kind of stuff. But a lot of those communities, a lot of those ethnic communities, it's 3 and 4 generations under the same roof. The idea is you get married, you start out young, you build your base up, and when you're ready to move out, then you do it at that time. But everybody wants to get theirs first. But the problem with that is it's self-defeating because you learn to be so independent that it's hard for you to bond with anybody. So I think definitely these other communities are certainly showing us, I think, the right way to go about it. But unless Black people start to get more in our minds that, hey, it's not just about going, just moving off and doing our own thing and getting away from everybody. No, it's like all 3 generations, grandparents in the house. You have kids, guess what? The grandparents are there to have the kids. You pass on generational values and traditions and whatnot. You keep the things very well tight knit. Because like I've said before here, Latinos, they're not that much different from us in terms of women having having babies out of wedlock. They lead us. They do more than us. And they have their kids younger. The average Latino woman is like 14, 15 when she has her first kid. But go to any mall on a Saturday afternoon and you'll see multiple people. You'll see the 16-year-old mom, parent with the pushing the stroller, with the mother, her grandmother, the baby's mother. They travel in groups. It's like a clan. They just travel together, but they keep it tight. And we don't necessarily do that. So I think statistically, I don't think what she's quoting is not that it's not accurate. But I still think, as far as marriage, just as a principle, I don't think it's necessarily dependent on age. It's based on maturity and what you're trained for and what you grow up with. And but until we start, changing that mindset and start talking about marriage in all aspects, in terms of, again, we talk about economics, how you'll be financially better off getting married at an early age. Unless you start really painting a picture of the benefits for young people, and then teaching them how to do the work to be a married person. Like I said, I don't think I was necessarily marriage minded. Y'all already know why I got married. But nevertheless, though, it was definitely something that I certainly grew into over time. So again, having the network, having the connections, having being around married people to help you get through those growing pains of marriage. Yes, I think all those things are going to be necessary, but it's not an age thing. It's just because you're 25. It has nothing to do with that. It's about your maturity. But I would say, as I think it's been mentioned before, I mean, a generation ago, people were doing things much earlier. Again, guys who are 30 are still acting like in their 20s, men and women. I mean, if you're still playing, Call of Duty 5 hours a night and you're 30, 35 years old, yeah, I mean, that's we didn't do that back in the day. So I think that certainly the desire to grow up has certainly been pushed off by a lot of guys. You want to stay at home as long as possible, even if you could do something, but no one's necessarily motivating you or pushing you out to go out and do some things. And like I said, for me, it's that my daughters, as soon as they got jobs, they pay rent, they pay they pay to be here. It's like, look, I say you can stay here as long as you want, but once you get that first major job or whatever, you paying some bills here. It's like I expect a stipend to come in every month for all, call it what you want, call it rent, whatever it is. But you have to start, we have to start prepping our kids for adult life rather than just having them, like this, graduating and traveling all over the place, not paying the bill. That's not life. That's not reality.
Showing LA.
So let me add this. So what you said, Mr. Bennett, because that's right on. It's not like we don't have some.
Thank you, Anissa.
Yeah, well, you can leave that up for a second.
I'm gonna keep it up.
One of the things I was going to say is it's not like in our community we don't have some kind of muscle memory when people did get married younger. It's not like it's it's generations. I would say a couple of generations, and it's not just me being an old guy. Some people still got married under 25. I mean, I started looking for my wife, but this is a long time. I was 26, 25, 26. I got married in my 20s. So the spirit of the question, are you ready under 25? It depends on what you mean by under 25. If you're a college graduate and you got your first major job and you're looking for a plan, maybe you are. Like they say, wait, let me finish. Some people say, are you ever ready to have any children? Right? I mean, sometimes you just go ahead and you learn on the job. So if you want a wife or a woman wants a man, like I said, the age is not necessarily the point. It's whether you want to go ahead and work with somebody. This whole notion of waiting at the finish line for a dude, is the thing that's broken the community in half, because we're pretty much the only ones who are doing it, and it ain't working. And here's another thing. I'm gonna land on this one. When I see athletes who are married, when they first get that big contract, they go up there, they got a wife that's 21, 22 years old, NBA, NFL. For the majority of those guys, they have better careers. They have better careers because they're not out there blowing their shit on IG models and all that kind of stuff, because they're grounded. So, I hear the comment, but that comment is more cynical than it shows in print.
Well, let me add to that. Hold on, let me add to that, because there was a video circulated on TikTok where a Middle Eastern man say a 16 or 17-year-old boy in the Middle East is more mature than an American black male here who's in their late 20 or 30, which is bad. And when I say it's bad, when he say that way, women know what I'm talking about when I say this. The level of insight, the level of maturity, the level of focus, the level of an agenda that you're going after. I had to spend 7 years in Nigeria to have my brain reprogrammed to understand what the value of a man really is compared to the American way of thinking. And when I came back, I wanted to slap myself. I said, I was thinking like these idiots out here. Is this how I was thinking before I went back to the motherland? I'm like, God damn. I'm glad I had that thing detox from me. And since I came back to this country, I can say I never took a vacation, never wanted a vacation. I think, we don't want to have a vacation because I haven't accomplished my goal yet. And I'm still not going to do so until I accomplish my goal. I'm watching other ethnic groups who are doing what we should have been doing and then some. But for the simple fact, it's all about individuality. Because I say this several times. Ray, tell me if I'm wrong. On one hand, we say black people are not a monolith, but on the other hand, you would say we're a community.
Right.
And I'm trying to just figure out how we're not a monolith, but when once again be a community, we're gonna have a main goal we're trying to achieve.
Correct.
They're the same thing in our country to say, you take one broomstick, it's easy to break and bend, right? But when you take a
Right.
bunch of broomsticks together and you try to break it, it's hard to. But what's the part about that broomstick? They're all going one direction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, we're not even
Africa will give you old
communities.
parables. Africa will give you old proverbs to make you think so you can get yourself grounded. Being in this country long enough, I think I was in the twilight zone for too long. I had to slap myself a couple of times every now and then because we went from the I want a ghetto gentleman era, what I call that was the biggest bullshit ever heard of my life, to or I got the magic stick, or I'm gonna be a city girl. You're gonna be a. I'm like, how many idiotic ideology are you gonna push out there to the point whereby you're gonna look like you're full of shit?
We still ain't there yet, David. We still ain't there. And that's the reason. That's the reason I say.
I'm trying not to be like Ray right now, but I feel like wrecking things.
Mm-hmm.
Don't do it. It's not a waste. Don't waste your energy.
Go ahead, Ray. You have something to say? Go ahead, Ray.
No. I was gonna say. I was like, that's the reason I don't. Oh, go ahead.
Jeddah Mike at 25. Did not Jeddah Mike 25?
Mm-hmm.
Did he not get married not too long ago?
Yep.
So what is that bullshit all about then? Well, Uncle, you're right.
But again, but to your point about Jedi Mike, again, it's his environment. You know, you look at his parents. I think his parents are ministers or something like that. I mean, he's, again, your environment matters. And for a lot of us who are not growing up in that kind of environment, it's hard to get that message out. So, so again, I think the stats again are not wrong, but I think it's going to, certainly require a mindset in certain people, and to again be in environments where that, you can see that being possible for a lot of these folks, being raised by single parents or just in dysfunction. It's hard to see, because I was like, I kind of grew up in that kind of environment also. I did not want to get married for a long period of time until I got around some folks who I saw how marriage could work. And then it was like, oh, I think I can do this. And then, so I think, your environment matters, and getting around people who have that, I think that's.
But here's the thing from our Payne, Brother Ben and Black David. You all are married, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Your children are getting the balance that they need to understand that life.
Yes.
They're getting that.
Right.
You're going to talk to them as a father. You're going to lay things out, plain, direct. You're going to be impartial. You're going to be sensitive. You're going to do all of that. Now, when I look at, now listen, you can do your research on it. Look at the behaviors and the personality of a child that's in foster care, a teen that's in foster care, and a teen that lives with a single mom. It's very similar, very similar. Now, the problem is this, and you can see it. It's more that the young boy, when a boy turns 18, the girl turns 18, the boy is allowed to linger around the house, stay in mom's. He don't have to really contribute after that. The young women, their ass is pushed out because they're no longer a benefit to the home. You got to get your own place. You can't do this. You can't do that. And they'll push these young girls up. Yeah. You fathers have already said, you ain't got to go, but you're going to do something that contributes as a young adult, bringing responsibility. Yeah. Most of these women will push their daughter out, and they ain't even told them, girl, keep your panties tight. They ain't told them nothing. Use what you got to get what you want. That's the advice they sending them out the door with their garbage bag. That's what they telling them. So when these young women go out there, use what I got. That's what they use. And how are we having this problem? Every other culture, white girls are going to college getting married. Why come we can't get married at 25? What the hell? Something ain't right. But we can't blame slavery. We can't say, oh, it was the slavers down. We was trying to just hook up with each other the way we could. You
Latinas
single
when it
16, let's get married.
But no.
the
The
issue
issue,
Oh
Trey, though,
man, this shit makes no
hold on,
sense.
David. David, let me get this. The issue, Trey, is that you guys keep trying to make it sound like black people have. We don't have a culture. We all didn't come from the same tribe. That's issue number one. You took a bunch of people and went based on the level of melanin that you have. Y'all are a team. Africa don't function that way. So there's no black landia to go to. That's the first problem. Second problem is we're not a culture within our own fucking homes. That's why we're broke. That's why y'all spend every dime you have. I personally, as a single person who I do want to get married and have a family at some point, but like as a single person, I have more than my net worth is higher than most black families. Two of you together don't even add up to one of me most of the time. And that's not me flexing because I don't make over six figures. I just know how fucking money works. And I'm not stupid. Like, like this is not like nothing that like I said, we do the bare minimum and think that it's something to be celebrated. We can't work together. We don't work together as family units. You can't even talk about a community if your family's not running right. We're not consistent within the family.
Right.
Like, and it's to the tune that like literally this year, my cousins, I'm starting with my cousin's kid that just had his baby. I'm setting up an account for them. I'm actually standing on the shit that I say. I will steer the direction of the family that I want to see in existence, whether I procreate or not.
Well, Ray,
Who
can I
else is doing that?
can I just ask? I mean, I hear you in terms of what you want. Is that truly what you want? Is that because you're a very intentional person, and that's one thing
Yeah.
I can certainly say about you. You're very intentional, but do you truly want to be married and have a family? Because you said that, and then immediately
I
said
would,
whether I have a family or not. But I don't think you
yeah.
operate that way.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously we're put here to reproduce. Like, I would like my genes to pass forward, but I mean, out of the pool of people, like if I find the right person, absolutely, 100%, that would be great because it would make things easier. But the difference being is my loyalty is to the family. Unfortunately, I do not have the family in regards of the way that they're navigating. Like my family's great, but they're financially illiterate. They're never gonna. We have people who can make money. We do not have people that can build wealth. So somebody has to start because they don't know. And I'm not mad at them for not knowing.
Understood.
Yeah,
Understood.
but
I'm talking about you. I'm talking about Raymond Brown.
yeah,
What Raymond Brown wants, the timetable that you wanted in. Obviously, you're an entrepreneur. You know, you're into the investing and all that. But again, when does Mr. Brown want to settle down and have a family? Because
well, I mean,
a
what do
guy
you mean
like
by
you can't
settle down?
operate. You cannot operate in the way that you're operating, saying if it comes. That doesn't happen in finance. That doesn't happen in business. Doesn't happen in anything. And
Right,
I don't think it
right,
necessarily functions here. So for you, what is your
right.
5-year plan? What is, is there a 5-year plan to get, if you got to go outside the country or whatever, however you want to do it? But do you treat that as seriously as you treat the Bitcoin or anything else that you do? Is it that intentional for you at your age? Because you're not a young guy either. So at your
Right.
age, is that something that you have the same intentionality about? Because I think if you did, I think that it would be done just based on what I've seen of you over the couple years I've seen you in these spaces. If that's truly what
Right.
you want.
So it is my intention 100% focus there in the same fashion that it is everything else. Like, no, because I have things that I have to set right here. Like
Right.
my situation has to be right. My family has to be set right. My loyalty is to the family. We got plenty of kids. I just need some of them to not be fucking stupid. like my goal is to have that set, is to change the trajectory. Like I don't give a shit about anything else, to be honest. Like I really don't. Like I would rather see my family name mean something again than have a family. But the thing is, that's not to say that I'm not entertaining people that are seriously like trying to get attention. It's just I'm not sitting here going, well, I got to get married because of like if I have to do that, then there's other things that are not going to get done, and I need to see those things done.
But I guess a
So
question for you then: what do you think you would have more control over? Trying to change the course and destiny of a family that is maybe in some ways broken, or again to start your own loins where you can kind of start from scratch.
Well, I mean, my point of reference are the people who are winners. So I look at the Fords. The
Hmm.
Fords didn't just do that with the intention of fixing his family for his kids. He went, I might have a kid that's a fucking idiot. I need a pool of talent.
Mm.
You have to have a pool. And that's the other reason that the reason the black community functions the way that it does is
Mm.
because A, we're not producers, we don't build anything, and C, we look at our kids and that's it. And that's the reason it's not a family. If you're just focused on your kids and you have two idiots or you have one idiot, half your wealth is gone, because actually more than half, because most people default to fixing the idiot versus making sure that the wealth passes to the kid who could steward the money and multiply it. We try to save every single person. Everyone doesn't get to be saved. In order for families to function, there has to be a pool of talent. You are not making the pool yourself. We're not in a situation where people are having 8 and 9 kids. That was the whole premise of having 8 and 9 kids. You stacked the
Um,
bench.
yeah, well, you built workers. I mean, we talk about
100%.
agrarian societies where you needed
Right.
manpower, so
But
it wasn't like
even
you were
when they
necessarily
got into
looking
the
for the next
factories,
generation.
but after
Yeah.
we industrialized, they still did the same thing, and they used that to build wealth, because now you have the ability to pass on trades. You guys can start a business where it's just y'all, and it became family operations. But the cultures that win, the cultures that are controlling everything, all the ones that we look at that we think takes everything from us,
Hmm.
they're focused familially. And that's why they stay on top, because they're constantly cultivating a pool of talent. You are
Mm.
constantly contributing to the family, not just your kids. Your responsibility is obviously to your kids, you made them. But as a part of a family that's functioning, that's looking to attain power, you do not do that with just your kids.
Mm.
You have to
And at this
have,
point, and at this point in your life,
yeah,
you are dedicated to your family, your existing family, and trying to repair or to set up that family that you already
yes,
have
yes,
to prosper in the future.
Yes.
And
100%.
you
Let me
would be
add something
good,
to this.
and you would be good if that came at the sacrifice of you having your own.
Yeah, that's a good question.
Yes.
Okay,
Okay.
and
Well,
if you're
let me
good with that,
let me.
I salute and I respect that.
That's a good. That was a good question there, Mr. Bennett, at the end. But because I see what Ray is doing, because I'm doing the same thing in my family in terms of as best I can for financial literacy. When you
Yep.
build that family tree, it's not just your kids. You got to
Mm-hmm.
go wide and deep, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I notice in my family, nobody's teaching their young ones anything about money and how to handle it,
Exactly.
or when they
Yep.
get their first job, how to start to, do whatever they need to do with their 401k. What's the difference between a Roth and a regular one, and IRA, and what to do with your money. If you're staying at home, that's a different scenario than if you're out on the street paying rent. So, or all that kind of stuff. And I'm like a beacon out there trying to tell people, because I'm not a financial advisor, but I kind of know better than just throwing your money in a 1% saving account is not it, you know? So I
Yeah.
understand
Yeah.
that. I didn't want to, but the thing about trying to sacrifice your legacy or looking at the family as part of your legacy is also understandable for me, because I keep the family tree. And for my grandmother and grandfather, just on my father's side, it's like almost 250 of us, 7 generations deep. And I've seen the changes in how people get married and don't get married, and illegitimate kids, and the whole 9 yards. And the reason why some of them are doing better than most kids on the street was because we had an older family structure in place that they leaned on. And so there's a lot of stuff there. So
Hold on.
Trey, you come back up. You had something to say?
I just want to
When
address this right here because
Hey
this
guys,
is
real
what
quick,
I've
I'm
been
gonna bounce.
mentioning.
I'm gonna bounce off for the night.
All
But
right. Thanks, Mr. Bennett,
hey,
for coming up, man. I
Payne, this
appreciate
might
it.
be one of your better shows, bro. And I know it went to something else, but salute for what
No,
you
it's
put
cool.
together tonight, man.
All
Appreciate
right.
you, man.
Thank you.
Now,
Thank
Yep.
you.
All right,
this
Mr. Bennett.
this need to be addressed. You see what she posts right there? How often have this topic of that particular thing have been brought up several times over in the past few years?
Yep.
Look at that amount. Just pay attention to that amount. That is from the black community, the melanated community alone.
Yep.
What have we done with that amount of money every freaking year?
I can't figure that out. That's easy.
I'm thinking like this because I was shown something in Nigeria that opened my eyes huge. The reason why, beside my country alone, other countries, people from the Middle East come over here, go to the worst of the worst, sacrifice themselves, stay at a tight knit family to build their family name. Ray is trying to reinforce his family name. I'm trying to make sure my family name stays strong any way possible.
Yep.
We're not worrying about individuality, we're looking at the bigger pictures. The reason why those baby mamas went after to the simp or the empty shell of a man. Because if they would have dealt with a real man who's all about legacy, generational wealth, they're not going to last long with those kind of men because they're full of shit. They like to deal with no shit man, ain't got substance man, ain't about shit man. And later on, you come across a person who had a goal, who had an agenda, who was working on something seriously that is beyond him. And so, some parent, when you find that certain person, you don't bring all type of unnecessary drama and stress to that person. If he decides to say he want to drop you like a bad habit, drop you like COVID, then you would have got a problem. You say, there ain't no good. No, it's not a problem. There's no good men. There are good men watching and learning from other men's mistakes. And they're saying, F it. I'm thinking as a man who spoke to a lot of good men who are saying, if I cannot find one here, I'm going to another country to find one. I'm not going to waste my hard-earned money or investment on a shithole who cannot see for herself that you draw the wrong type of man. Let's keep it 100. Now, I'm not keeping it 1. I'm keeping it 1,000. A huge percentage of women in this country don't know what a good man look like or feel like or think like.
CBN, can I stop you right there for a second?
Go ahead.
I know where you're going. I don't want to go too far down that
I
path.
know. I'm just angry because
Just
a
hold
particular
on,
person
hold on
triggered
for a
me.
second. Trey asked a question. Trey made a statement about that stat. Trey, talk about what you think about that 7 trillion stats, 1.7
Yeah,
trillion.
it's always a black community cop out. Oh, we spend this much money on this, we spend this much money, as if every community doesn't have a vice. Every community has a vice. Every community spends money on something they probably shouldn't have. It's a BS stat. It's one of those stats that always tries to make it seem like the black community is overly financially illiterate. I probably would say that we're probably one of the worst, but I've been around some white men who don't know savings from a checkings. They don't know nothing, and it's
white men are like 2 rungs above us at the bottom, dude. Like that's
yeah, I don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. I really don't give a fuck. I could care less. It's a cop out. It's a cop out stat. It always is a cop out stat. All black people do. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead. No. Go ahead. No. Let Ray go because he's not gonna let me get it out anyway. So go ahead.
No. I'll let you finish because I'm gonna remember what I was gonna say.
No. If you
want to let me finish, talking, man, and you shut the fuck up.
Go ahead, Trey.
That's rude. That was rude.
Hey, Trey, finish what you're gonna say, brother.
No. Go ahead, Ray. Go ahead.
All right, but before Ray, before you go down that, well, go ahead and say what you're gonna say. But I have a question.
No. I was gonna say a metric. If you're talking about it from a community standard, like I don't believe the black community exists, but if you're gonna group a lump of people together that really only have a continent as their common continuity, what I was gonna say was that metric actually does matter because if you were any community that liquidates everything that they make, we don't produce anything. That's actually the problem.
Are
we
you going to
spend
produce
everything
something?
that comes in.
Are you going to produce something tomorrow?
I own a business, sir. I produce a bunch of shit. I produce $1 million houses. Like, what do you produce? Like, what are you talking about? I produce multi-million-dollar houses. I do produce things.
What do you
Like,
make in your backyard, Ray? What
let's
do you
not
produce?
do that.
What factory do you
Man,
own, Ray?
let's not do
do
that.
other cultures own factories or do they own business?
I'm talking about Raymond Brown. What do you own?
No.
What factory do you own? What are you producing? Other than a bunch of fucking complaints and excuses. I'm talking about Raymond Brown. You, sir.
Like I said, I produce
Not a goddamn
multi-million-dollar
thing. That's
houses.
the answer. The answer
What
is
are you
not a
talking
goddamn
about?
thing.
So you're saying home
Not a
automation and
goddamn
multi-million-dollar
thing.
houses isn't a thing?
Not a goddamn thing. You didn't build the house.
I don't want this argument to go
If
on.
I'm a part of the build process, am I participating in building the house?
It's a stupid statistic.
And
it's a stupid statistic that you guys try to use in the black community all the time to make it seem like motherfuckers spend money. That's what they do. It's commerce.
Let's stop this argument. Hey, listen, I'm the fucking host. Please stop fucking arguing.
Well, then you should have told them. You should have told that motherfucker not to interrupt me while I was speaking.
I'm talking to him too.
You asked me a fucking question, and then when I gave you the fucking answer, when I gave your dumb ass the fucking answer, you let him interrupt me. So if you want to be a host, be a fucking host.
I'm trying to not interrupt you. You just want to be upset.
No, motherfucker, but you did interrupt me though. You did interrupt me. Stupid.
To Trey, I said go, and you wanted him to keep talking.
I did stop, and I said I was sorry.
I asked him to stop talking, and can you guys just fucking
don't try to
stop,
pull that
man?
bullshit ass rank.
Just
I'm the
stop,
host,
man.
Motherfucker, do a better job.
Man. You know what? I give people respect, though, Trey.
Bullshit
and
you
Ray,
do.
stop
Bullshit
fucking
you
talking
do.
about. Ray,
you don't get.
Are you out of your fucking mind? Are you crazy? Well, listen, if you can't do that shit for after all we talk about with each other, Trey, I'm just asking you, please. I just wanted to ask Ray a question to keep this shit going down another path. And I wanted to give you the challenge. Ray, don't interrupt me, please. Let's just do this.
I'm sorry.
Anissa said something to you, Ray, and I wanted to talk about it. She said, why are you the only man in your family who has to
ask me a
educate?
fucking question? They didn't even let me fucking answer the question. I let this motherfucker interrupt me, and now he's gonna move the fuck on. Fuck you, Payne.
Trey, let me say this to you, right? I did ask you to continue, and you wanted Ray to say what he wanted to say.
Host. Just go ahead. Keep going. You're a shitty host. You asked me a fucking question. You let this motherfucker interrupt me, and then when I have an issue with it, you want to move on as if I'm the fucking problem.
No, I'm not.
Man. I'm not. And then you want to pull some bullshit. I'm the host. Then control your fucking panel. Then this motherfucker, you asked me a question. You asked me a question.
Arguing with me though. I did say finish.
Because you're shitty at this. You're shitty at this. That's why.
Okay, I'm shitty at it. Ray, so can you answer that question, please?
Oh my God. So I'm the only one who took an interest in focusing on learning to be financially literate. That's literally the reason. You can't expect people who weren't taught these things to learn these things. They didn't teach me these things. I went out and sought it out myself.
All right, so that's your answer to that. All right, so all right, so that's simple enough. I mean, she asked the question. So, but I don't know how big your family is, Ray, and all that kind of stuff. So when we went down this path, it seemed like it was a legitimate question. As far as with you, my man Trey over here, don't be so mad at me, all right? I'm just asking you not to, because I did ask you to go ahead and talk a couple of times and forget about what he was saying. I was trying to stop him too. So yeah, I could be a shitty host, but let's not go down that path. I would like to kind of get back on track in terms of, and now we're all over the place because based on what JT showed, and that's cool because we're still talking about the singleness problem we have. Who was first, who was trying to help another lady. Now we saw a guy who was like 21 years old talking about he don't want another girlfriend because somebody broke his heart. And then, of course, we went down that kind of rabbit hole, and then we kind of went and talked about from the chat and how we're talking about those kind of things. So somebody what happened here? Something
that was Black David. David
just left. So hey, listen. So I'm just saying we've been going for a couple of 2.5 hours. And I think we hit upon some things. I don't think we solved anything. My my hypothetical with the young lady got derailed because you guys don't want to give her no goddamn grace, even though she was asking, and maybe she doesn't deserve any. And as far as the young guy, Ray, you got on my way. I answered him. I think the fucking guy's too young to be so defeated with all the bling he has on and stuff like that. Man, get your ass back out there, man. And even though we're in the sign of the times where women do destroy men but I don't think he was destroyed like that in the back chat or back offices and stuff. I don't know what he had to really lose at 21 years old. I can see that happening to a older man with women who leave that we know who leave. Like, look, I'll give you a perfect example. A fucking Angelina Jolie won't die until she tries to destroy goddamn Brad Pitt. She's been bringing that shit up for 100 years, man. She won't let the guy go. So when women latch on that way, I don't know what you could do about it. She's using social media definitely to destroy that man if she could.
You talk about the young lady? You talk about the young lady that we showed earlier, or no? Or you talking about
I'm talking about when the young man came on talking about he's all broken because he had a bad relationship. I mean, Reagan and I got into it because he thought I was a little too hard on the dude. But I think we put that in perspective, and Trey Furry put it in better perspective than I did. I'm just saying.
You was too hard on him?
think.
You
Yeah,
weren't too hard on him?
I don't think you guys were too hard on them. It's just this is the thing. When we on these panels, man, a lot of this shit is observation, right? Because it would be dope as fuck if we can talk to them. You dig what I'm saying? And so that's one of the things I look at is to be able to talk to these young men. Man, they lost. So what Ray was really saying was that these motherfuckers, it's the sign of the times, but this is how they're conditioned. They don't know anything about building yourself. It's like they're confused. You got some people that's saying, hey man, leave these girls alone, build yourself up. And then you got other people that are talking about being married at a young age, right? So I think the message is just being crossed with women and men because we kind of lump the younger generation in one big ass ball. I think that's what it is. We kind of lumping them into one big ball. I was just looking at while you guys were talking, and I was just looking at some other stuff on TikTok. I don't really look at TikTok that much, but I was just typing in shit, and I was looking at this thing where I just typed in how old should you be to get married, and it's confusing. It's very confusing, bro. It's like if I was a young man or a young lady, I'd be confused. I'd be like, this is a bunch of motherfuckers that don't know how to be led themselves, telling me some shit. So I can understand their frustration, right? And because they're confused at all these different messages that's out here. The thing is that social media is the new wave. It is. This is where you get your information at. We're going to have to come to a consensus that this is how the world is now. We're not just in one city or one community of like a town, a borough, a county, or anything like that anymore. This shit is real. But I don't think we're there yet. I'm talking about as a whole. I don't think the people are there yet. This is where we can do the most either damage or the most good at. And this is where the war is. Who's going to set the fucking narrative?
Well, hold on for a second, though, JT. You said that before you go too far down, because I'm going to come back to this. One, when we talk about whether the kids were told, get your shit together or get married, there's no fucking reason why they can't do both at the same time. This whole narrative that we only can do one thing at a time that's what's got to change. I didn't have it all together when I got married. Nobody does. So you just got to have two willing participants to give each other enough grace to build together. That's the thing that has to happen, right? So they don't have to be fully developed. This is just bullshit. When older people tell younger folks they got to be fully developed before people develop at different ages. We can't keep getting married in our 30s when we're fucking unbendable and unmoldable. So when we had the opportunity to mold and bend each other when we're in our 20s. So this narrative of telling these young people when they have the most flexibility to be the most rigid is fucking bad advice.
No,
and that's why we're in the situation we're in now.
No, I agree with what you're saying, but what I was the only thing I was setting out was that it's a war of narratives.
What?
That's all. And I'm
A
just
war of
looking
what?
at
Say
it
that
if
again. A war of what?
narrative.
Narrative.
So yeah, it's a war, and they're confused. Like what you were just saying. No, what you were just saying was I agree with, but see, I agree with it because I'm a part of your culture, bro.
But
They
JT,
can't see it because they got all kind of motherfuckers saying that. Oh, go ahead.
What I'm trying to say is the confusion is telling people that they can't do both.
I agree.
Think the advice is that there should be no goddamn. People who are going to be confused are going to be confused anyway. There's another thing about technology and the internet, right? They had a point where they said that they wanted no kids to have cell phones in the school, right? And in the school, the kids staged a walkout when they took it from them. Well, you know what? What the fucking school needs to do is learn how to lean into the technology and make it part of their learning.
Mm-hmm.
What's wrong with that?
No, that's
what I'm saying. Make it
that's
part
what I'm
of
saying. That should be the narrative. What you're just saying is that it should be you can do both, but they're not. That's what you're saying. I agree with, but what I'm telling you is that this is the reason why you don't have someone saying that you can do both. I asked the question.
But I think, RP, can I say something real quick?
Yeah, sure.
And I get out your way. I seen something Anissa said, guys, and Anissa said men 20 and 25 should be in college, etc. Developing.
All right, land your plane, nigga.
Okay.
Baby, you just got friendly pussy.
So I just, and when you say 20 to 25, you know what's amazing to me, JT? You said something last week that really stuck with me, bro. Mm-hmm. You said that you're living in the home that your father and your mother bought, right, when they were younger, correct? It's a family home, right?
No, not me. This is
okay. You were saying something to the point where
there was a woman that I was dating that was living in the home that her parents did. Yeah.
You know what's amazing? It's amazing that our grandmothers and grandfathers didn't have, some of them, a majority of them didn't have no college education. Some of them can barely read. Some of them can barely count. And to this day, them motherfuckers own more shit than motherfuckers making $100,000 a year. And I can, for the love of God, understand why a man 18 years old, a woman 16 years old get married and they own 300 acres of land, 4 rental properties, right? They own their own home. They got shit to leave when they die. They leave shit for their kids. And today we're saying they got to go to college, get a piece of paper that says, "Hey, you great," in order to have something. This motherfuckers right now making $100,000 a year and ain't got shit to show for it.
Yep.
That's why when you watching these, that's what, and I knew this was coming. She said different time, but that's why you watch shit like, hey, the Titanic, it took $3 million to build the Titanic. In today's money, that's $75 million. So back then, it was expensive to do that shit too. Back then, you could probably buy 10 acres of land for $4,000 with an equivalency of fucking $150,000 today.
Yep.
It doesn't matter what time you are in. It doesn't matter because back then, for a black person, shit, $1,000 was very, very hard to come by.
Mm-hmm.
So, and again, I don't understand how these young people, like we're saying, 20, 25, be in college, and the college has to be the end all be all, go and develop yourself. Well, these 19-year-old men were working out in they're working in the coal mines. They was working in the goddamn steel mills. They were working, and they took a little and did a lot, and they have a lot even to this day in 2024 to pass down to their damn children.
Yep.
But no college education. They can't even spell their fucking name signing X's on dotted lines.
Facts.
And
so you want younger guys to overpay for things?
No. No. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like right now,
Well,
my grandfather.
if your argument is that younger guys aren't buying land and they aren't buying homes and they aren't buying property, that means that you want them to buy land, and you want them to buy homes, and you want them to buy property, correct?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, so you want them to overpay for it.
Well, depends. And so, yeah. Explain more. Go in more too, because I want to get more.
What's the current interest rate, black man?
On land?
Do you even know?
Land? No.
If you wanted to go buy, if you want to go buy a home right now, what's the average interest rate?
5%. That's the average.
Why you bailing them out, JT?
5%.
Why you bailing them out?
My bad.
like what's going on? It's so difficult to make a point because somebody's going to interject and bail him out. I'm asking him a question. His point is that he wants people to go. He's making the point that back in the day, the younger guys went out and they bought land, they bought assets. And why aren't they doing that today? My counter to that is that it's expensive. It costs more to do today than it did then. And I'm making the point of asking them what is the current interest rate, and is it right now? Would you advise somebody to go out right now and go buy a home?
No. Unless
what about last year? Would you advise them to go buy one last year?
No, last year was a good time. I think last year was good.
2020?
No.
So how are we holding these young fellas up to the standard?
Well, what I'm saying is, it's like some of the young, to give you an example, and I wish I had time to get the video up here. Some young men, I saw a set of young men, probably 12 or 13 of them got together and bought a high school, right?
I remember, I saw that news. I saw that.
Yeah, and they 12 of them took their money and turned that fucking high school into one of the biggest, most luxurious fucking apartment complexes ever. And now people are staying in that motherfucker. They're high value as a high value as property. So they flip that shit. So that's what I'm saying. Back then,
have you seen the P&L?
No.
So we have no idea how much money that property is making.
I don't.
Oh my God.
I don't.
And so what happens is now that you have social media, people will get on social media. There's a guy, he's an Asian dude. He always says, if you want to buy this, he'll be standing in front of a Rolls Royce. He'll say, if you want to buy this, then buy one of these. And then he'll point to the apartment building behind him. Right? So everybody thinks, oh, buy the apartment building. But what he leaves out is that he doesn't even put in for the apartment building. He's a part of a group. He leaves that part out every single time.
Right.
He supposedly got all of these apartment buildings, but no, sir, you're a part of a large group. So I don't have a problem with teaching the younger crowd. I do it every Monday. I did it today. That's why I got off. I did it today. I have no problem teaching the younger men how to invest their money. But we're not about to sit here and act like that we're not in a different time and a different economy. We are. It is different. And money right now, there are people who are spending. God damn it, Ray. Go ahead, Ray.
Ray, leave alone. Let him finish, Ray.
No.
You keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck.
This is the issue with the black community.
I was literally just at Trey. I was literally just trying to ask if I could get in when you were done. That's all I wanted to say.
Everybody in the black community. The reason why we will never all get on the same page,
we got you, Ray.
is because one person has a better idea than the other person. We'll never ever get on the same page. Never. It'll never happen. Because every time somebody gets an idea, somebody will say, well, I got a better idea. And then that person who got the better idea, well, I got a better idea. We're never going to get on the same page. Go ahead, Ray.
Are you actually done? I was actually trying to be polite. I was just trying to ask if you were finished, dude. I don't understand why you're mad.
Wait until I'm done. When I'm done, I normally...
You keep talking, man.
When I'm done, I normally go on mute. I shut up. Why can't you just wait? But go ahead, Ray.
Because I can't see the fucking screen, Trey. I thought you were pausing. That's the reason I was trying to ask if you were done. But I mean, I'm not trying to be rude to you, bro. I don't understand why you're on this shit tonight. Why having it? So, no. I was just gonna. I was going.
Just make your fucking point.
Stupid.
Mayday! Will you please learn this motherfucker?
Yeah, I know it's late.
So my question was gonna be like how, I mean, like, people act like you got to move into a place by yourself. You already have roommates. If one of you can get your stuff together, then you could purchase that way, because it doesn't matter what the interest rate is if you're not paying the note. That's all I was going to add.
Sir, if both of us bought a building, you borrowed the money.
I'm not saying a building. I'm saying like a house, a condo, a loft, not a building. I'm not saying we got to go buy the building. I'm saying you got to start somewhere. Start with
the
the
issue
house.
in the black community is that we want to play the credit game. Everybody wants to play the credit game instead of playing the cash game, the ownership game, right? There's no way in the world that you will ever outrun cash. You guys will talk about leverage. People will say, well, oh, I'm leverage, until a 2020 happens, and these motherfuckers are scrambling to pay their goddamn mortgage. Everybody wants to be over leveraged. Oh, well, just borrow. Okay, cool. And then as soon as the 2020 happened, you run around like a chicken with your head cut off. The problem with this community is we're not teaching people how to properly stack cash. Anybody have any idea how much cash Berkshire Hathaway has set aside for a rainy day? Anybody want to take a guess? It's over 100 billion. They are prepared for a goddamn tsunami. We are not teaching the black community the proper way. We keep telling everybody, go borrow money. Well, if you're telling them to go borrow money, who is that making rich? It ain't the person borrowed the money. That's for damn sure. We're wrong here. And I don't have a problem working together, but we're working together in the wrong ways. We're doing it wrong. We're doing this shit backwards. And we wonder why we can't close the wage gap. And we get people to come on here and will tell you do this and do that. They're wrong. If I had $10 million and you had access to $10 million in credit, I will beat you with cash every day of the week. Every day of the week. Because no matter what, you're always going to have to pay somebody back. Always. No matter what, you got to pay. You got to service the debt on that money.
Cash is king.
No, I could agree with you on that to an extent. It just depends on what the terms are, because math is math. You're right with cash, because if you got,
Ray,
I mean, it's
Ray. It's not. No. He's right. 100%. If you got multi.
I mean, if we wanted to sit down and actually have like a genuine conversation on different methodologies, because I'm not saying he's wrong. I'm saying that's a way you can do things.
But
I don't do things that way. So I can speak from my perspective of what I'm physically doing with my money and the results that I'm getting, because I track my shit.
I'm sorry, Black David, go now. I'm sorry, Ray, but I mean, just in the context of the conversation, yeah, you might have a point. I'm just saying that, if you just compare apples to apples, no matter what the strategy is, if I have $10 billion in cash and you were financing $10 million, I'm going to come out ahead, man. I will. But I understand there's methods and strategies for borrowing money, but in that context, it's not. All right, go ahead, Black David.
I want to act Trader quickly. He have a very solid, great point. Since we talk about building up cash, what would be the best suggestion for a young group of people who want to build a solid foundation of generational wealth? What would you think the best thing to do at this present time? Not going to Trey.
The first thing is to get rid of this buzzword generational bullshit. Nobody is building the amount of wealth that's considered generational. So stop it. Do we ever even understand what generational wealth means? The Khan family. We're talking, that's generational wealth. Lasted them hundreds of years.
I understand that. They had to start from somewhere. But I'm going to say if someone would have started now, what would be the first step going?
Here's how I look at this. From the moment you graduate high school, if you are not going to college, and I said this before, man, we had a big argument and people all got mad at me because they thought I was talking about blue collar and I wasn't. I was talking about being average and how many hours you worked a week. If you are 18 years old and you are not in college and you're under the age of 35 and you're telling me you're working less than 60 hours a week, we're already off on the wrong foot. We're already off on the wrong foot. I don't want to hear nothing you got to say. Okay? What you should be doing is stacking cash. Right? A lot of you guys want to move out of your parents' house. It makes no sense to move out of your parents' house if you don't have to. If they're kicking you out, that's one thing. But if you don't have to leave, don't leave. You need to be stacking the cash. You need to find an investment vehicle. I don't give investment advice, so I won't tell you what to do with it. But you need to be finding an investment vehicle that is safe, that has low volatility and can get you some returns. But you need to be stacking for as much as you can. We got guys out here that are in their 20s that don't have $1,000 in their bank account. That's sad. That's sad. And it doesn't make any sense because you don't have no kids and you have nothing but time. You got to stack this cash. The other part of this is too, is you go ahead.
No, I was going to ask you a question, Trey. So I saw a family. I can't remember their name, but they're not from here, but they live here now. And in their family, the guy married the daughter of the other guy and his family. What they did was they told them, now that you guys are married, me and your parents, we've come together and come up with a decision. For 6 months this year, you guys are going to live with us. The last 6 months of the year, you're going to live with them. What we're going to do is, while you guys are living with us, you have no expenses. You will have no expenses. We already bought you a car, you and your wife a car for your wedding gift. You don't have to pay any bills. All we ask is that you make sacrifices, no eating out, no going out, no investing money in nothing that's stupid. Just hold your money, and we will keep this up for the next 4 years. After that 4th year, you guys will have enough to purchase your home. You will have enough to start your family, and you will have enough to live on and invest money in things that will give you a return. How do you feel about that, Trey?
Yeah, I don't have a problem with it. It seems like a sound strategy. I don't have any issues with any family saying, "Come stay with me." I think that's one of the things in the Black community we don't do enough of. We're so quick to kick the kids out. Why do we do that? I don't get that. Why? You 18, you getting the fuck out? No. Honestly, I can make the argument 18 to 30 is the time they need you the most. I can really make that argument, especially as a young man trying to build his wealth. You should not even be, as a man and personally, and obviously, me personally, you shouldn't even be thinking about getting married until you're able to secure a home and you got $100,000 in emergency funds. We don't even talk about emergency funds in the Black community. We just had a whole COVID-19. We don't even tell black people, hey, make sure you could go 12 months in case something pop off. We don't even do that. So you should be at home. If you're in college, I understand that. But even in college, I can make the argument you should be at least cranking out 30 hours of working, if you can work. I know some colleges don't allow that or whatever, but if you can work, you can work. What I see is a lot of young folks who are trying to take the easy route, right? They want to get popular on TikTok or make a good YouTube video and boom, they hit it. That happened for some people, but that's not how it's going to be for the majority. For the majority of the young folks, you're going to have to put in that sweat equity. You're going to have to work. When I was in the military, I did 12-hour days. My shift started at 6 a.m. I didn't get up to 6 p.m. And then after that, I went and DJed for 4 hours. When I was a police officer, I worked 10 hours, 4 days a week. And after my 10-hour shift, I worked another 4 to 6 hours at a nightclub, at a strip club, at a bar, at a lounge. You motherfuckers don't want to work. It's sad. Where's the money? It's sad to see a 24, 25-year-old who got $1,000. It's even worse, and I told you, it's even worse to see a 40-year-old who ain't got a net worth of over $100,000. What are you doing? What are we doing out here? We too busy focusing on the women. We too busy focusing on the women.
Trey, it goes back to the question, and it goes back to what Embrace Grace said. We spending a lot more money on frivolous items than stacking it. We spending that money, and that's the thing. You know, it'd be okay, you know, if you 18, 19, you get you a job and you have a plan with that job and you work it 70, 80 hours, sometimes pull a lot of doubles. Yeah, you can stack your bread in about 4 or 5 years to get to a better place. But then we don't have the younger generation, unfortunately, they don't think like that. They rather get the latest Jordans that come out every other month. I got to have all 5 colors. Even guys that play video games, man, they spending trillions of dollars on video games, sitting stagnant, not working on push-ups in between commercials, getting fat as hell. Fucking John ain't working. So how do we fix that dynamic? Because you see it in women and the man.
Now, Trey, hold on, Trey, let me add something to that. I got on my mama ass about this the other day. It's motherfuckers playing video games making more than me and you probably put together.
Yeah,
are the majority? Are the majority?
Not a strategy. Come on.
Are the majority? This is my issue.
It's not
right
a majority.
Here,
it's not
exactly
a
what you
gamer,
just did is my problem. That's exactly
what
my
I
problem.
did. What I did?
Nope. Yep, exactly what you did. Because the issue is that we give false hope. That is not a majority of people who play video
It's not
games.
true. It's not a majority.
Mhm.
I'm
It's
against
So
not
why
that.
are
only
we?
because
Why do we think like
it's
that?
smaller than that.
No, but okay. So let me tell you why I said it. Let me tell you why I said it. Right
Why?
here. Let me tell you why I said it. Here in Texas, and so I'm talking anecdotally here, guys. Here in Texas, we have an EA Sports compound where they have kids come in and play the video games, and they pay them of all ages. 8 years old, 12 years old, 13 years old, 16 years old, and they pay them. Now, is it hard to get into the program? Absolutely. You may have to know somebody, but that bitch is packed full of kids.
Yeah, but BMU,
And they're playing those video games.
BMU, you're wrong. It's just like telling somebody you could be a pro basketball player. It's the percentages of something that we shouldn't even mention in this context of this conversation.
But you
That's
just said,
immaterial.
Arpain, they did a walkout with cell phones, and the school should lean into cell phones and technology.
Yeah, that's different. That's not the
It's the
same
same thing.
analogy.
It's the same
No, it's
thing.
not. No, it absolutely is not. It's
How is it?
absolutely not the same.
So you
It's
mean
not.
hold on. So you mean to tell me creating games and doing like electronic arts with video games and shit like that is not leaning into technology? That's the future.
No. You didn't
Black
say
man, what
about.
you describe is not the guys who are making the video games.
That's
Those are the
right.
guys playing them.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Yeah,
That's right.
You're not talking about the guys who are actually creating. Listen, if we were talking about teaching kids how to create games, I'm all for that. But that's not what you describe. You're talking about kids who got pipe dreams. Oh, I'm going to win a Madden tournament and win $1 million. No, you're not. The same thing you guys got on Killer Mike. He told the kid you're going to be president. Kid, you ain't going to be president. That's the truth.
Bruh.
It's a fact.
So BMU, I'm just saying in the context of the conversation, that's not a good example. That's all. But you know, so that's what I'm going to try to stick with. You know, and I can see why you got the pushback. So maybe in a different context, yeah, maybe that is, but that's not in the context of this conversation. So
you keep talking, man.
So who was up next, man? Somebody was. Oh yeah, Anton. I see you up here, man. What you got to add?
What's going on, partner?
Welcome to the panel.
What's up, bro?
What you got? You got something on the topic?
Anybody here?
Ladies and gentlemen, information man on the panel.
Yeah, so we got
Attention Kmart shoppers. Attention Kmart.
Well, this echo.
We got a spill on aisle 6. Spill on aisle 6.
I am your father.
Trey, you're wrong for that.
Hey, information.
Somebody turn the fan off.
He
Hello.
got that warehouse echo.
Hello. That remind me of a girl I used to date.
Bro, that's what I was about to say.
I hate to say it. Our sick joke belonged to BMU. And
oh man, so okay, so Antoine dropped off too, so both of them, one of them has something going on. But well, I think this was I think what we segued into. I mean, we're all over the place, but that was a good conversation. One of the things I wanted to do about when we hit the topic about keeping your kids at home. When my girls graduated from college, there wasn't even no talk about them moving out. Right. So once they took from college graduation till 29, and the other one is still with me, and all she's doing is stacking money. And that was the deal that I made with them. I said, listen, you know, you're moving into a house. I don't need you to buy food. I don't need you to help me with the mortgage. I don't need any of that shit. But this is what you're going to do with your money. This is exactly, you're going to have some discretionary money to get back and forth to work. And the rest of this shit, you're going to invest and stack. That's what I told them. And they said yes. And then that's what they're doing.
Hey, Arpain, can I ask you a question? Where did this come from? Because I got the same speech at 18, you're out. Where did this kicking the kids out at 18? I mean,
I don't think it was like just kicking it out. When you was 18, you went to the military shit, man. You were getting married. You were having families, and they were leaving. So I just think that over the generations, it just became, I don't know who bastardized it or who popularized it to say, get the hell out of my house at 18. But that shit never crossed my mind with my daughters. Sometimes the sons want to leave because they want to piss on the goalposts and shit, and both of us can't be pissing on the goalposts at the same time. So you got to get the fuck out. But
Brother Ben,
all the nastiest, freakiest shit I ever did with a woman was a woman who had her own place. That is a fact. I'm telling you right now. She had her own apartment. We did some nasty ass shit in that fucking apartment.
But it goes back to what I was saying earlier.
Absolutely.
About when you have a father and a mother in the home, you're more likely to get the dynamic of our pain. Hey, if you're not ready to get out there, stay here, work, go to school, stack your money, prepare yourself. A single mama, the child turns 18, the child is no longer a benefit to the mother. Ain't no more child support check coming, so now you're a liability. Even with the boy, they will coddle that boy and allow him to lay up in there and buy him video games and Jordans and bullshit for 20 years and be talking about my children. How old is your son? He's 33. It's a goddamn grown ass grandfather at 33. But a woman would do it, but they will put that daughter out there with a fucking garbage bag and say, go make your way. You can't be here. You in my way. You doing too much. And this is the dynamic that we put that older women and put their daughters in. This is what we see. This is the result. All of these girls out here, they out here on survival mode. That's all they know.
No,
That's
let
all
me
they
add.
know.
Let me add to
So
that.
what are you going to do going forward?
Let me add to that on the African perspective. When you talk about kicking our son out of the home at
well,
18,
hey, black man, 1 second. Hey, information man, did you get your stuff fixed or what?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
100%.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you're black man.
I'll make it quick. I'll make it quick.
Yeah,
When we
Black
talk
David.
about kicking our son out of the age of 8, it's all based on productivity. Because when a father sees a son not doing anything productive with themselves at the age of 18, he just sitting down wasting away. It creates two issues. One, what were the whole time were you doing in school? What were you doing? Are you wouldn't building yourself? Were you building a skill set, or you trying to build a trade? If you're 18, just chilling, doing nothing, you two think gonna have you work with the family business, trying to do something productive, or you go out and do something. If the son is not doing anything highly productive, there's a high chance that the father will kick him out to motivate him because he's not gonna have a son sitting at home doing nothing while the father go in and out working, and he just chilling like he got nothing to do. That's the only reason why African parents normally want to kick their son out. It's not the daughter, it's the son. Because there are few to have a son staying home doing nothing. If he productive, he doing something, they're not gonna kick him out. They'll make him stack his money. But if he just staying home, just chilling, scratching his ball, waking up, see if you can find something to eat, by all means, I got a body slam. I'm not gonna kick you out first. I'll body slam you first, jackknife you, power bomb you, then kick you out afterward. Because as a man, it is a shame to have a young man sitting down doing nothing productive. It kind of like striking up in a very most vicious way. Like, what the hell are you doing? You have no drive in you. You got no motivation. You got no hunger. It's not possible. In most African family, if you're not doing something, they'll put you on a farm. If they have a farm, go and get something done. You're not gonna have you sitting down doing nothing. You may expect that from the daughter in some kind of way, but they'll make sure the daughter learn how to be a wife, not to be productive in a certain kind of way. But for the son, you got to be productive. You have to. If you're not productive, you're not driven, you have no goal, then there's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
All
I
right,
hope
so
that I hope that answered Trey answer.
yeah. Okay, information man, what you got? I mean, we had a few topics going on out here. So which one you want to be on?
Nah, I think Trey brought up a really good point about building, within the family. But also have to agree with my man CBN that if you're productive, then you're going to be at home. I have a bunch of uncles, and all my uncles have owned their own business, and they grew up on a farm in North Carolina. They had a strong work ethic, and the idea is that if you're living in the house, you're either working or going to school, or you're doing both or something. But if you're not doing nothing, your ass is going to be out the door. I had an uncle that was like that. That he said, if I'm getting up in the morning to go to work at 6 or 5 in the morning, and your ass is still in the house looking at TV, you got to get out the house and do something productive. That's how my family raised most of us, and I think that's what we need to do. I do think that we got to get our kids away. I heard the statements about video games, and yeah, you can make money in that, but it's like the NBA. Not everybody's going to make money in that. We got to get our kids away from all this sport and play, in my opinion, and get them into science, get them into technology, because that's where the future is going. I would rather train my son to own the damn team than be playing for the team. That's all I wanted to say.
Don't forget the trucks.
Got it.
Facts.
Don't
That's
forget
dope.
the trucks either.
Well, hey, listen, gentlemen, I'm gonna go around for some final thoughts, man, because we've been hitting it, we've been going around. Anton, yo, you
Yeah.
back? Just up. What you got to say on the topic before we go around, or one of the topics? We hit a lot of
What's
stuff.
going on, fellas? Sorry about that. I'm at work. I just finished up with work and everything. I've been trying to chime in. Plus, also my phone's been acting up. That's why the camera's off. So I kind of work with one of those big businesses that are very particular about their name being out there. So
That's cool.
I mean, no, like a lot of stuff that I was chiming in on in the chat made a lot of sense, and some people would agree with it, some people didn't. I didn't know, but it is what it is. But I get what Information Man is saying. My family's from the islands, and that mentality is the same way. It don't matter you from Jamaica, Trinidad and Tobago, Haiti, Cuba, the Bahamas, Bermuda, whatsoever. Your ass gonna be doing something, plain and simple. And that's something that I've gotten from my parents from the start. My parents, Information knows me already. My parents, this March, my parents have been married for 54 years. 54 years. That's a lot. And that's a lot to put up and deal with
Amazing.
54 years. Yeah. And my dad, both my parents are from the island of Haiti. My mom, retired nurse. My dad had his own business and ran a community outreach program. And I remember my parents always getting up 6 o'clock in the morning, 6, 7 o'clock in the morning. My mother making my father a plate to take with him to work, making a plate, cooking for my brother and sister and me to eat when we get back from school. My grandmother, God rest her soul, was living with us at the time as well. And then she was getting herself ready to go to work. There were times when my dad was so tired. My mother told me when I was young, when my dad would come home, I would take his shoes off because he was that tired from working. And during the summers, my brother and I would work for him at his business. It was a grocery store. And he also had a travel agency, a temp agency, a bookstore, and a couple other things. And one of the things I remember is my dad would take us to the Bronx in New York, over by old Yankee Stadium, pick up supplies and pick up items that he had to sell at the store. We stock up this van and everything else. We'll go from there to Queens, to Jersey City, and then back to his store. Offload that van, do inventory, made sure everything was in order, stocked up, and still had to work and help my dad out still at the store selling the merchandise till maybe like 4 or 5 o'clock. And I remember doing those trips, my brother and I doing those trips at least maybe 2, maybe 3 times a week in the summertime. That built my work ethic right there. And my brother's too. I've been at my current job for 26 years. And just like I said in the chat, I was also in the service. And Ray and I were swapping some stories. I was in the Army for 11 years. I went in at 19, I got out at 30. At the same time I was in the service, I was working for my current employer as well. So I tell a lot of these young people, hey, I just did my part. I tell a lot of young people, you have to go out there and you got to be hungry. You got to be dogs. You got to fight for that bone. If you want something in return, you got to put in that work. And I think the problem with some of these younger kids is they don't want to put in that work. They're afraid to put in that work. There's nothing wrong with failing. It's better to try and fail than not try at all. When you fall, what happens? You get back up. And that's the problem with some of these kids.
I feel like some of these parents, some of these mothers are too busy trying to cushion the fall for the kids when they fall, or finding ways to where they don't have to do so much and they don't fall. I think these kids are not getting what we got grown up, teachable moments. They're not getting teachable moments. And I think that's where the problem is. Everybody's too busy thinking they want to get that money and everything else. But guess what? You got to put in that work to make that money. You got to put in that time. You got to put in that effort. I worked overnights for 24, 25 years. And I finally got all overnights after doing that for so long.
Mm-hmm.
So don't sit there and tell me I don't know what I'm talking about.
Facts.
So listen. Well, okay, go ahead, land the plane. Go ahead. You got some more answers on? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Sorry about that. I just feel like I tell a lot of these young sisters, stop following the gospel according to Beyonce. Stop saying that you want to get married, have a family, and be a single independent woman at the same time. You can't do that. It's one or the other. And the problem with some of these women is that they look at compromise as a weakness. It's not. Some of these sisters are like this for a reason because there are some guys out there that weren't handling their business and left them behind. So these ladies had to put in that work and do a little bit more and work 2 or 3 jobs and raise their kids at the same time because the dudes weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. So I get that. But at the same time, one thing my wife always said, she was never going to teach our daughters to depend on a man financially. That's the one thing she said. But one thing she said she was never going to teach them is not to depend on a man. And my wife's the oldest of 10, raised by a single mother. I'm the middle of 3. My wife never had like the perfect situation or a stable situation. I still got the keys to the house I grew up in. We came from totally different situations when we got together. And the one thing that still stands out, I remember when my wife and I started talking, she asked me if I had 2 things. She asked me if I was a registered voter, and she asked me if I had a library card. I showed her my library card, and I told her I've been registered to vote since July 22nd, 1994, and that was the day I turned 18. And then when we got to talking, it was nothing serious, just sitting and talking and everything else when I dropped her off from work. When I left, I was heading home. I was still living with my parents at the time. I thought she was cool people. Later on, my wife told me this. She said from that day, when we had an all-night talk, just talking about family and life and what we want to do and our goals and dreams, she said she has found the man she's going to spend the rest of her life with. She knew I was the one. And then from there, we started building what we have and trying to make everything better.
How old were you when you got married?
I was, I believe I remember I was 34 when I got married. I got out. I waited to get out of the army to get married. And I was already in the process of finish up my time in the service. My wife and I started dating. Because I know,
man.
How old was your wife?
My wife is, I'm 47.
No, not now. How old was she when you got married?
Oh, how old was she when she got married? My wife was 30. Okay. I was 34.
Okay. All right. Just curious. I was just curious. Not
okay.
Just curious.
That's all. But it was just, when you come from a situation, like she saw where I came from, and that's what she wanted. Stability, order, foundation. That's what she wanted.
Gotcha. So Hank, man, welcome to the panel, man. What you got, man? You've been around for a while. What part of the topic you want to speak about?
Man,
it takes a lot of answer for that. Go ahead.
You said what?
Yeah, what do you want to speak about, Hank? We've been around the world, man, 1,000 on this panel. So what you got? What do you?
Well, Payne, I'm waiting for you to stop talking so I can say.
Apologies, man. Apologies. I'm sorry. When I'm passionate about things like this.
No,
that's why.
You was talking to me.
I was talking all Payne. No, you fine.
You keep talking, man.
Oh, that's right. God damn.
Don't even go there.
Let me say, I know, I think y'all talking about not don't worry about playing a sport, but we gotta also realize if these young fellas and young women to get an opportunity to get their school paid for. I mean, how do y'all expect for these kids to pay for school? Because the one thing you don't want them to do is get student loans. You set these kids up for failure. So there's two ways of possibly getting a scholarship: either academic or athletic.
Great point.
So if that's the case, unless y'all willing to co-sign on the student loan or start savings early on in their child's life, which I doubt most of y'all are going to do because y'all irresponsible motherfuckers crying about they lazy. Well, they lazy because you forced them and made them to be lazy. You have not been a good role model to show them nothing else but laziness. So what if you as a parent showing these kids? And if that's the case, then you should have been instill a work ethic into your kids. The kids are only going to do what they taught and what they learn to do and what you allow them to do. So if you allow that to happen, go down, then that's what they're going to do. You can't fault them. It's your fault. Look at yourself. Why? Your kid fat because you fat. Your kid's illiterate because you don't know shit. And you didn't make that the standard. And if you don't make it the standard, what do you think they're going to do? Just barely enough to get by. They're going to be a C average high school, barely graduate from a high school, barely transition out of elementary, barely got through middle school. So, some of the burden got to fall on the parents.
Yeah, okay, so you said a couple things here. One about the probabilities and possibilities. Nobody said that kids who have the aptitude for sports shouldn't do that. There's still the percentages of a kid getting an academic scholarship based on effort or athletic scholarship is, I think, vastly different, right? Because academics, you can learn, right? Some people can actually learn their way into an academic scholarship, but if you don't have the sports aesthetics, you ain't gonna get a scholarship. But both should be on the table. And as far as blaming parents for the inadequacy of their kids, let's stop this scorched earth bullshit, man. There's a whole fucking bunch of kids, man, whose parents were right on the goddamn point. The kids didn't grow up and didn't take the heed, man. To say that all the older generations just had fucked up kids and that's it. I think that's lazy. I don't think that shit's true. First of all, it's not true. And it's not, and half the kids are fucked up because of social engineering, not because they have fucked up parents.
So what? Okay,
but why?
So
I can't.
Why is that social engineering messing them up? Why is that social engineering messing them up? Why?
Because everybody's subject to it.
Okay, so that's true. But guess what? You're also subject to educate your kids, to let them kids know this shit ain't real. This shit ain't true. Let me pour this into you and let that idiot box pour into you.
I agree with that, but when you didn't say that, you came out here and said that you blamed everything. Listen, the way we talk about the older generation, to me, I just can't fucking stand it. Nobody made any distinctions. You just came out and said the old people, the reason why the kids are fucked up is because of their parents.
Brother Payne, I didn't say nothing about whose age. It could be the parents of today. I'm talking about parents, period. If you're a parent and your kid is not doing what you expect, then you need to evaluate yourself. You need to have a come to Jesus moment and look at yourself in the mirror. Why is my son or my daughter acting like this, talking like this, carrying on like this? What did I allow her to see or be exposed to for her to be doing this?
I agree with that. When you put context,
so I need to reinforce whatever my standards are, whatever my religion, whatever my teaching. What I do with my son, when he's in there watching stuff, I go in there just sit down and watch how he responds, how he takes this information in. And then after I watch it, and I watch it myself with him, I say, hey, dude, do you realize this bullshit you watching ain't real? Do you real? So now there's the education part coming in. I'm watching what he's watching. I'm trying to relate to what he's doing. And now I'm educating him. Dude, don't you ever do this. This shit is dumb. This is why it's dumb. This is why it doesn't make sense. This is why it's not real. This is why you shouldn't be doing, or this is why you should be doing it.
Yeah, so listen, Hank, I
I'm not
agree
going to
with what you
rely
said.
on just him just getting that information and
Yeah,
totally
but you didn't
understanding.
put it in that context when you first started talking.
Because you
didn't put it in that context. You didn't say any age. You said I mean, listen. Maybe I'm overly sensitive to it, but it sounded like you were just blaming it on the older fucking generation.
I never said anything about what generation.
Yeah, but I'm saying put it into context.
But
that's all I'm saying.
I said parents. That a parent could be
you're
an
right,
18-year-old
you're
young man
right,
could be
brother.
a parent.
You're right.
As long as you have kids, you're a parent. Doesn't matter what age, generation, or genre. It doesn't matter.
I'm hearing you. And like I said, maybe I'm overly sensitive because all you fucking guys just point to the older generations when I start saying it.
I think he's right behind you, so he ain't even touched that. He's right behind you.
I want to piggyback on what you guys were just saying. Hold on. I want to piggyback on what he was just saying. I think the problem with some parents is the fact they're too busy trying to be their kid's best friend and not the parent. And I learned this. I think that's what's always been the problem. And I learned this in school when I was a kid. I went to private school all my life. And there's one nun, God rest her soul. She said this from the time I was a kid to when I was in high school to even when I was in college. Every time I went to go back and visit, she always said this: parents are the first teachers. And I think that's the one thing a lot of parents forget. You are the first teacher from the day that child is born to the day that child goes to school for their first day of kindergarten. You are their teacher. And if you are not setting an example, if you are not establishing a standard and expectation of what your child can and can't do and be involved in and so on and so forth, if they're doing nonsense, that means you done fucked up, like Chris Rock said. And there's a truth to it as well. There is. Because, and I remember Montel Williams said this on his show a long time back, the problem with a lot of parents is they're not actively involved in their kids' lives as they should be. The only time you see parents like really make a big deal about their kids is their first day of kindergarten and their high school graduation. Other than that, where the fuck are you for those past 12, 13 years? Are you there? Are you involved? Are you checking their homework? Are you going to the parent-teacher conferences? You know, are you paying attention to their schoolwork? Are you seeing problems that they might be struggling with when it comes to doing their homework and talking to the teacher saying, hey, I got concerns about my son or daughter because here's what they're struggling with. Parents got to make the time to do that. And sometimes some parents, they're too busy trying to be their kid's best friend and not the parent.
I agree.
I want to break some things down. I'm hearing a lot being said, and we need to do research and have our numbers together. I think that right now we need to be encouraging our kids to go old school and get involved in skilled trades. And the reason why I say this, even though we know that some of our kids some of them get scholarships in sports, but it's not as many as you think. There's less than 2% of high school kids that receive athletic scholarships, gentlemen. Only 7% of college students receive scholarships in this country. Only 7%. 1 out of 8 college students in this country are awarded a scholarship. 97% of them get less than $2,500. So what we're looking at is that even though we would love our kids to get these academic scholarships and get athletic scholarships to take some pressure off of us financially, that would be great. But the problem is not every kid is going to achieve that. And your child stands a higher chance of receiving an academic scholarship than they are an athletic scholarship because the numbers are much lower, as I spoke of. So keep that in mind. So now some kids college may not be for them, or it may not be what they want to do. So maybe we need to get them involved in skilled trades and things of that nature, because there are people working as plumbers. that are making more money than people that went to college for years and then build up a whole bunch of debt. Okay. So, and it's just a reality. There's a small percentage of our population, of our kids that are gifted enough to get scholarships, and they're competing. Think about it. They're competing for 58 positions on a football team, a college team, versus competing with a classroom, which has more slots available. Academics is the way to go. Put our emphasis on academics and skilled trades. We'll be much better off than chasing this damn hoop dreams. How many of y'all saw the movie Hoop Dreams? Okay. All what happened to those young men. Those of you that are blessed on this panel to have family members that got scholarships, much love to you. But it ain't going to be all of us. I know a whole bunch of guys I went to high school with who were great athletes in school, but they didn't have the academics to get the damn scholarship, because you still got to have academics to get into these schools, even if you get a scholarship. So we got to be pushing academics and skilled trades if they're not going to college. It's just that simple. Simply said, but got to be put work forth. That's all I wanted to say. Numbers don't lie, gentlemen. Numbers don't lie.
And with that, gentlemen, let's do this. Let's do this. Before you go, man, let's do this. Well, I'm gonna go around final thoughts, and we go around. We can start with you. With Anton's going. Oh no, we can start with you. Final thoughts, man. Final thoughts, and go around. And Ray, you can go after.
All right. Wow. This was a great show. I was following it when I was at work in the chat on a lot of things that were going on. And I feel like a lot of young people need to learn the significance of not only self-preservation, but they got to learn the importance of perseverance. Everything's not always going to work out the first time, and that's okay. You got to learn to get back up when you fall down. You have to learn not to let anyone get to you. Also, I feel like ladies, have standards and expectations. Don't set the bar too low where anybody.
No, you dropped out.
Oh no. Signal. You gotta be where we at. You said that about okay.
Yeah, you dropped out. That's
So,
all right. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry about that. No, I'm driving. That's why. So my thing is,
that you dropped out again.
The signal. Where he at, I understand, because it's building like that don't mess with your cellular signal.
Yeah. All right. Listen,
the government don't want them dropping them gems. No. There's a couple of pieces. I mean, hopefully the government doesn't come and knock my internet out. So I'm sitting by the rack. But you know, this was a dope conversation. I'm happy I got off in time to actually catch it. Like this past couple of Mondays been a little bit hectic, you know, running my business that doesn't produce anything. But you know, it's cool. But there's so many things. Like, I mean, the singleness epidemic, like at the end of the day, biologically we weren't made to go through this alone. So like it's even insinuating that would be disingenuous and remiss at best. Like, it's just not what we were made to do. We have more data of us grouping up, coupling up, being in tribes than we do of a bunch of just random nomads running around. Actually, we know exactly what happened to the random nomads that were running around with no clothes on. They lost. So to groups and families. So that's going to be my first thing. The second thing, like the money conversation, I love having the bag talk conversation. I really wish Trey didn't dip off when he did, because I wanted to ask him what his definition of cash was, because I personally don't hold cash. The only reason I have over $1,000 in the bank account right now is because part of that is cash going towards the house, but everything else is on the market. So like I don't hold cash, period. And I don't know if you guys notice what Bitcoin's doing. I'm just going to say Bitcoin's outperformed every single other asset on the planet since its existence. Just something to throw out there. So like when I say that the paradigm has shifted and people are really rushing into a burning building that they think stuff's changing, man. So there's multiple ways to skin a cat. Like if you just want to have a bunch of cash, like that's cool. Like and I can get with the don't leverage to the hilt, but going, oh, all credit's bad, Dave Ramsey, like that's not true. Like I deal with land developers with what I do for my business. None of them are paying cash because then they would be liable alone instead of having a bank work with them to sort it out. That's how those men get to keep their land. Anyways, um, there's just there's a lot of different ways to do things. You just got to figure something out, and like it starts within your home. So like we have to, if we're gonna start having communities, you need to have a community within your family that goes beyond your kids. That you need kids learn from example, and to what Hink was saying, they learn by what they see also. 'Cause my parents didn't teach me to work hard. I saw them work hard. I saw everyone in my family working hard, so I was like, oh, that's what we do. What else I saw was a bunch of people who lived hand to mouth, working hard, bring in high income, spend all your money, have less net worth. I have family members that make an order of magnitude more money than I do, that are worth less than I am because they don't know how money works. Income alone is not going to fix this problem. You can go out there and get as much money as you want. If you're not multiplying that money, then nothing that you do matters because when you die, it all fizzles up. You get hurt, it fizzles up. It isn't an end. You're also, for those of you who want to go chase the bag and get the highest paycheck, that's the highest tax, stupid. Like you saying that you're the best slave, congratulations. Like your W-2 money is literally the worst money that you could possibly have coming in. And I'll leave it at that. You got to figure it out. There's actually a multitude of games that you can play on the financial sphere, but get out of we got to lose this W-2 I make more money than you conversation. No one gives a shit. Elon Musk makes less than I do on his W-2. What's that mean? What does that mean? That's not a good game to play being the best slave. That's all I'm saying.
I'm glad
All right. Hey, so okay, thanks, Ray. Hey, look, Hink, so we can finish off the bottom row here. Your final thoughts. Hey, listen, man, I apologize. Listen, man, I got thin skin about this fucking age shit, man. So I've been beat to death, but I know if that's not where you were coming from, then that's cool. But go ahead, Hink, your final thoughts.
Yeah, your old ass need to learn how to listen and not.
You can't help
You brought it up, so I might as well talk on it. Now, look, let me say this. We know every student's not college is not built to go to school, so they shouldn't go to college. They should do whatever they need to do. If that means they want to go to a vocational school, then do it. If the military is your answer, then go do what you got to do. But as far as, like I said, we shouldn't down on with information talking about scholarships, man, there's too much money out here. We got to realize there's too much money that doesn't go claim as far as the government, as far as scholarships, because we just don't know. We don't have the information. Now, back in the days, there used to be a book. You go to the library and get a book, and it has a book of thick-ass scholarships. Do y'all realize that? How much money has been carried over, interest has been made off that money that the government doesn't give out, that is out there for us, because we don't look for the information. We don't do the research. So there's more than there's a lot of scholarship opportunities. There's a lot of school. Look, there's over 200 something Division Ones. That's Division Ones. That's not include Division Twos. That's not include Division Threes. That's not include these NAIA schools. There are a lot of schools out here who has teams and opportunity for scholarship, but we have to take advantage. Now, another thing, information is right. You got to have your academic door, but we also got to realize some of these schools don't have high academic standards. They don't.
Right.
The ACT, you don't have to worry about that no more. You don't. They don't even, ACT is just, if you do ACT, that's just going to give you a little bit more money. But it's not required by these schools no more. Now, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. It is what it is. But we got to take advantage of it. Another thing, FAFSA. Fill out your FAFSA paper. There's grants. There's scholarships there. People don't fill it out. People don't participate. They allow it to be missed and passed over because they don't. Why? I don't know why you don't do it. Because your dumb ass must want to pay tuition every month, or have your kids doing work studies to pay for tuition while they work in the cafeteria, and you got other people on scholarship and grants because they took advantage of the opportunities. Your son or your daughter's in there doing work study with a hairnet on, look like Brother Payne behind talking about you want gravy with your potatoes. Take advantage of this knowledge, man. Go out there and do the research. Parents, you need to be helping the kid out. Just because they're 18 don't mean they're ready to make these decisions. They're just not. So continue to be the best parent you can and allow your student, your son to be the best parent, the kids they could be, and try to guide them and help them along as much as possible. My last words is, black man, protect yourself at all times. Do what you got to do for your mental. If that means you need to get in somebody's Zoom meeting on somebody's couch, do that. Diabetes and heart disease is the biggest killer amongst black men. So take care of yourself. Get a physical. Do what you have to do. As far as colonoscopy and prostate, us all of men up here at a certain age, get that done. Get that done, man. And colon cancer is a motherfucker, man. I watched my grandfather go through it, and it wasn't a pretty sight, man. So take care of yourself. Things could be addressed before they get to the worst. Address them. Take care of them. It doesn't make you a lesser man because you got to get a colonoscopy or get your prostate checked. It doesn't. It's part of what you got to do as a man, especially us black people. We got some of the highest rates, so take care of yourself and do what you got to do.
Amen.
That's
Let me
right.
go
Hey,
next real
Black
quick.
David, go ahead, man.
I'm gonna make it very simple. I'm glad for Mr. Man said what he said, and I'm glad he pointed out.
Now that you said that, we know we're going to be on
I'm
a long play
heavy
run.
on trade. We want to tell I'm heavy on trade is this. If we have kids working on trade, either be construction, either be electrical, either be paint, whatever it may be, they don't have to worry about student loan. That's number one. Number two, the yesterday generation of the black community was trade focused, and they were the most wealthiest community of that time. Because they were able to build wealth within themselves using their skill, trade, ability. Not everybody when we may go into computers because right now I will say that I got laid off almost 2 weeks ago. I was in the job for almost 3 years, and I see what was going on. What they're trying to do right now is replace American worker with overseas workers on purpose. And I see that on multiple corporate jobs, and it hurt me for the simple fact there's not many of us like this who own these infrastructure companies. This is why I'm heavy on trade. When you have your own business and that business grow and people grow and support that business, that's when we have our own institution. I'm very, very heavy on trade. You don't have to do computers. Let it be construction. Do it for 10 years. Then you can bid for a construction bid and have your own construction company. And from there, you can hire people to do the job. Look how Reckless Ray. He have a team that does the thing. Forget about all this craziness that's going on here in social media. I work with the first social media platform called collarclub.com. So that's why I laugh when I see people following all this social media trend BS. I think you're stuck on stupid, you're drinking the wrong Kool-Aid. But focus on trade. That's it, number one. Two, I'm a parent. If my son doing well in school, he graduated from high school, and he trying to do something else, and as long as he's productive, he could stay home. But if he's not productive, he gonna get it. I'm not playing around because I was taught the same way in that motherland. Men are not meant to be lazy as fools. We're meant to be highly productive. We're meant to be driven. That is needed. And I hate to say that it's always the parent fault. My big brother Hank landed on the nail heavy. When your kid's not doing right, it falls from the parent. What are you doing? What are you showing them? What are you all about? I'm a workaholic. So if my kid's not a workaholic, then someone is deterring him from what I do. I'm gonna check that one quick. That is needed right now because you want to fix this community, then get more people doing what they need to be doing first. Let's stop the bullshit. You know, leave the women who are looking for a high value man. Let them be delusional. Pay no mind. Chase your goals. Set the goal before you go. When you're about business, the right one will come along. The government trying to pull along with you, but you can tell from a different. They smell stink. It ain't about shit. The real one want to help you to go further with that business. They want to be a part of it and make that thing grow. That's the real deal. Because other ethnic groups are doing the same exact thing. They come together to build. So all the young brothers, when look for a right woman, look for one who want to build with you. If she don't want to build with you, she is trash. Leave it on the corner. Let the government pick her up and move on. Cause I'm being bare knuckle. Because if I hit into that trigger me, you see the dark side of me. I'm gonna give you raw and uncut truth. I could care if I hurt your feelings. Oh well, grow something. And I'm done.
It was about to go down, boy. Black man was about to be like,
Mayday! Mayday, will you please learn this motherfucker?
Man, stop watching the earthquake over there in Texas. I'm trying to move down there. Ain't trying to get no pothole.
Well, give me 2 minutes and 35 seconds to land my plane.
Yeah, all right.
You know, listen, everybody out here threw out some gems. So if you're listening, you probably heard 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 different solutions or possibilities that you can embark in your life. Try all that shit. You ain't nothing gonna hurt you to try it. Worst thing you can do is come back home, sleep in your twin size bed for another couple of weeks, and then you go try something else. I've tried everything that y'all said as a young man. Most of y'all speaking, especially as fathers. So y'all speaking from a dynamic that most young men don't get. A father's going to give his child direction. He's going to try to do the best he can to ensure that he's not trapped by these fucking propaganda BS that a lot of young men have the freedom to do when they're in a single parent home. The unfortunate thing about a mother being the head of the household, she has to work. So now your teenagers, they doing whatever you was doing when they heard your head banging at night. So they doing all that while you at work. So there's no way you can grab a hold of that. But you can also check this out. If you're an 8th grade, if you have a teenager and they make it a B average, you should be doing everything from day one to get them looking at colleges, applying for scholarships. They fucking give you scholarships for hair. They give you scholarships for your height, for your hands. It's so many scholarships. And guess what? You can apply to 500 scholarships if you're going to do the work. You could possibly get $500,000. I had a kid get $200,000 worth of scholarships because he put in the work. If you have a smart kid and your ass was slow, invest in your child. Don't let nothing happen to him. Don't let nobody be around him talking crazy. Don't let nothing. You treat him like that's your way out of the goddamn ghetto or wherever you live at. And if you're a young man and you have that foresight that you want something better, you cannot be afraid to try every avenue. If you go to listen, if you can get a scholarship for academics, sports, whatever, and you go to college and something happened and you don't have the money to afford it, guess what? You can go over there and join the military and play sports in the military and travel around and still get paid. The difference from the college and military, one, you'll sit in the classroom for 4 years, reading slow as hell as you read. Hopefully you pass those tests. In the military, they'll take your dumb ass and train you until you pass the test. Now, are you going to war? Maybe. If you join the National Guard Reserve, yeah, you might go. But if you join regular Army, which I recommend, you may not go. And all the women in the military are fine with money. I don't care what some of them are beautiful because they got the face. Some of them may be a 5 because they ain't got the face, but that body is banging and they got money. They ain't talking about you got to pay all this. They gonna pay it with you. And if you want to, and if you go to college and it can't work out, join the military. Guess what? The military will pay you $1,800 to go to college after you get out. And you can get your FAFSA, like Hank said. Make sure you always fill out your damn FAFSA. That's $3,000 to $6,000 a year that can go in your pocket. And you can still get scholarships on top of all that. So the military would afford you the life where you can go to college and make $10,000, $15,000 every 4 months, every semester, every quarter. So don't never disregard that. And by the time your ass 25, 26 and you ain't figured that shit out and you're a black man, those in power will start pushing you to the side. They will start finding ways to start messing up your life. You ain't got to worry about the women. You ain't got to worry about us. You better worry about them, because they're going to start finding ways. That's when they're going to start pushing you into these prisons, because they got to keep them filled up. And mothers, it's my last thing. If you have a boy and this motherfucker's growing to be 6'8", and he's 9 years old, and even though his father broke your heart and don't really want you, go talk to the father and see if you can make a deal with him and give him to the father, because he needs him, right? He needs him. Because we keep talking about building stuff up, man. Yeah, these boys are already built. Just give them a chance, but it takes you to step back out of your own personal feelings and allow a righteous man, even if it's not the father, find somebody righteous. Ain't got to necessarily be nobody in the church, because they might do a little funny stuff. But if that's in the community, pay them $20 a week to mentor your son. Invest in him, and guess what? Your son will put his life on you as he gets older. He won't blame you for everything that happened, like we hear. It's always somebody's fault. So, my thing is, man, everybody gave some answers. Everybody gave some good. Go try all of it. See, come back and tell us how everything worked out. Because as long as you keep sitting on your ass, the world will pass you by. So that's my piece.
Hey, Trey.
Hey, before you go, JT, you had a
No,
question.
I'm not about to go nowhere. I was just going to tell him that Delta had called and they was like,
Mayday! Mayday, will you please learn this motherfucker?
Shout out to my Aquarius family.
Man. You had something else before you broke up, man? You go ahead and get the rest of it out, man. If you have.
Yeah, one of the things I was saying is, one of the things I was saying is, there's nothing, James Baldwin said it best, dreams are the seedlings to reality. And you got to build on those dreams in order for it to nurture and to watch it grow. So parents, take the time out to be there and help your kids in any way, shape, or form. There's always going to be that, whatever challenges or difficulties they're dealing with, be there for them. I know a young man who did get a basketball scholarship, who did play Division I ball. And when we were talking before he graduated high school, I told him to get a piece of paper and write this date down. I told him to write that date down and told him to write under that the finish line. He did play college basketball. He gained an extra year of eligibility due to COVID. He got his bachelor's degree in criminal justice. He used his extra year of eligibility not only to play ball, but he used his extra year of eligibility to work on his master's as well. He got his master's as well. I went to go see him around Thanksgiving time because his dad was taking care of some stuff for my family. I was happy to see him. We got a chance to talk. And the one thing he pulled out of his pocket was that piece of paper that he wrote down what I told him 6 years ago. And I was proud of him. I was very proud of him. And he got a chance to do the one thing that not a lot of people get a chance to do. He got a chance to finish college debt free. So, yes, go get that academic scholarship, but don't see it as it's got to get you to that next level sports wise. Use that academic scholarship as your advice to get yourself a free education for the next 4 or 5 years. And that's all I got to say. Those are some words worth thinking about.
Yeah, thanks for coming up. Go ahead, JT. Go ahead, man.
yeah, it's going to be really short, man. For one, great conversation. Our Payne, this was one of your better shows, bro. Love it, love it, love it. Keep going, keep grinding on your show, on your channel. Also, did you change it, or is it still?
I guess it's R Payne at MPS. Next time I'll get the numbers off. R Payne at MPS 1241.
Yeah, I should have got the link over there, but yeah, great conversation, man.
Mm-hmm.
We left with everything we got over here, man. We left it on the show. Please, if you we already know we're gonna have people doing replay. We got replay gang heavy over here on Black Man Unfiltered. I will be doing a show on Wednesday, and that's what we know Wednesdays. on this channel and
Mm-hmm.
on I'll be simulcasting on What We Know podcast also. That's all I got to say. Don't forget, after this show right here, you guys, please go check out my man, the RBN. He is live right now. And if you can, go over there and support the brother, because he's definitely out here supporting us, bro. And I end it there. I just
All
put
right.
his link in the chat also.
All right, cool. So I'm gonna be quick myself. Listen, man, we went around the world here. We started out trying to help a lady who asked the question, "Why am I still single?" And we found out that the consensus of most of y'all said there ain't no hope for her at 31. But I don't necessarily agree with that. But you know, by looking at the way she's coming up, she's got a lot of baggage that is going to keep her from the man she wants. Then we're talking about a young man. I think he's entirely too young to have felt so bad over a broken relationship with a wayward girl, because he looked like he was 21, 22. And, you know, maybe reckless got on my case because I didn't have any compassion for the young brother, but he got to get his ass back out there and get back on the horse. That's the only way, again, guys get over that. They can't spend too much time sulking over a chick, man. They definitely don't want to put you know, say I'm not in the game no more because of one woman. That's kind of what women do when they get traumatized, you know. And we talk about age. When you tell your kids to leave the house, and that is not necessarily the best thing to do, but as long as they're productive, if you could give them some more years to stay and stack money and stack experience in your home, where they don't have all the pressures of being out there on them, when you can still mold them a little bit more into their young adulthood, just do that. I hear some guys wish that their daughters never leave their house unless they're getting married. I wish that would have happened for mine, but it just didn't work out that way. But you know, and that's probably not the norm, but it's a good idea. Because my wife, when she left her parents' house, she came into mine. You know, so but that was back in the dinosaur days. Okay, so before somebody else says it, I'll say it for you. And then we talk a little bit about money and finances, and we probably need to have more shows on that. Even though nobody, maybe even get a financial planner up who's not self-centered or on the shit that he's doing. You know, or
Well,
she's.
we need one here. We really need one because there's a lot
Yeah,
of
yeah.
stuff that
So
came from
just
my
talk
father.
about how to set some things up when you're a young adult and looking forward to your adulthood. I mean, when I was working, all the young people, we had the thrift savings plan, which was a 401k plan. And you'd be surprised how many people don't even put money into it to even get to the matching of 5%. And now they're 40 and 50 years old, and they're going to these retirement classes and figuring out, shit, man, I'm like 20 years behind the curve. You know, so, and then of course the family values thing on the, you know, the parents and their responsibility to their kids. In New York City, they just had a woman whose kid was train surfing. The dude was standing on top of the train while I was moving. He died.
That's not the first time. I'm sorry.
Yeah. No, it's not the first
I
time,
heard
but
about that.
That
she got
happened.
on the.
No, I
They
know.
actually put a mic in front of her face, and she blamed everybody else in the world except her own goddamn
And here's the
responsibility.
thing: this train surfing thing have been going on for almost a decade. And the reason that happened, these kids are coming from broken home with no structure,
Hold
no
on.
order.
Before we go down there, yeah, you're right. But the point I was trying to make is that she's suing the MTA. She's suing the internet. You know, she's trying to sue
She's gonna
Meta.
lose.
She's
I'm
trying
sorry.
to sue all these people, and
I
not
work for that.
one
I used to work.
time.
I'm sorry to say
At
I
one
worked for the
time,
MTA
she didn't
before.
say that she was responsible for not checking his social media.
I know,
She
but I
didn't
hate to
say
say this.
anything, or she was completely absolved herself of the responsibility of her son going wayward.
And
And
let me say
that's the
real
problem.
quickly.
And there's no goddamn man in any of the pictures.
I know, but let me tell you real quickly. I used to work for MTA. She's not gonna win.
Well, I know
They've
she's
been
not gonna win.
putting cameras in the subway to see every single moment out on that particular project. And what they were doing was to make sure stuff like that, if it happened, they got it on tape. And I promise you, it's not going to work unless you
Yeah,
work in MTA
I know
and
Vac David.
I let you work in MTA how things operate. She going to lose. They're gonna ask her the question, why was your son climbing on the track at a certain time, at a certain location?
Okay,
And they'll have the video
I
camera
didn't mean
showing.
for you to go down the rabbit hole, brother. It's my
Wait,
final
this show
thought,
out.
man.
Never
You know what I'm saying?
She's gonna
No,
lose
but I
and
hear
she's gonna
you.
regret it. I'm just telling you
You
right now.
keep talking, man. And you shut the fuck up. Huh? 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 Huh?
Listen, hey man, listen. I tell you what, I appreciate everybody come up on the panel, and here's another thing I realized, that I like Trey more than he likes me.
God damn.
I like Trey more than he likes me, man. Let me just
Yeah,
land
that
that
Trey.
shit right there.
Yeah, that
And with
Trey.
that,
Boy,
everybody,
Black man,
thanks for
cut
the
that
chat.
out.
Thanks for the chat, and everybody.
clip it.
Let's say good night. Let's say
Clip this,
good night.
black man. Clip this.
Good night,
The
everybody.
toughest
Y'all.
things any man has ever done is turn down a nice piece of willing, steaming ass piece of pussy.
Going to Dingaling museums. Yes.
What's that? It's dingling. Oh shit.
I love being on this stuff.
Subscribe now.